Bonjour. Good morning. This was live for 12 seconds before Ohad showed up. That's crazy. Go ahead, Ohad. We've been live for 12 seconds. Go ahead. What's up?
Man.
You got an echo.
I got the echo.
Oh, it's gone now. What's up?
Amazing. You have 5 theatrics in the last 24 hours. What is the common theme with all of them?
5?
Yes.
In the United States?
No. Or in the United States and Europe combined.
Oh, I don't know about any of the ones in Europe.
So the United States have the one in New Orleans, right? And the one next to the Trump Towers.
Yeah, well, not Trump Towers. Trump
Seems to
Hotel.
be connected.
Trump Hotel in Vegas. Actually, the FBI just said that there's no connection between Las Vegas and New Orleans. They just said that 8 minutes ago, 24 minutes ago.
I find it very unlikely.
I know, it's because what you want to do is you want to come on here today and talk about how Islam is the problem, right? That's what you wanted me to say, that this is all radical Islam.
Isn't it?
Is well, I don't know. Is Las Vegas? I have no idea.
So you have 2 people being knifed down in Germany. You have the one in New Orleans, which was a member of ISIS, right?
Yep.
Um,
Well, I don't know if he's
Okay.
I don't know if he's a member. I have no idea how their membership works, but he definitely had a flag, and it appears that what they found says that he was, but I don't know. I don't know how membership works with ISIS.
yeah. Yeah, I just think that when you have the Mormons screaming,
It's interesting.
is-
You know what's interesting is you only ever show up here to go after Islam. You've never come to this show and done anything other than try and paint Islam in a terrible light.
I talked with you about economy, I talked with you about a lot of things, but certainly the fact that I'm Israeli comes up a lot, and then we usually switch the conversation up.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
not
it's the
that
reason I say
always come and talk about
well, there's
how
been a lot
bad
of
radical
other.
Islam is, even though, yes, it absolutely is.
How many times have you showed up here to talk about when it is a somebody from like a white supremacist group?
I don't hear about a
Never.
lot of crimes by white supremacies.
That's interesting.
But
It's
do
interesting.
you hear?
It's interesting that you should say that, because I was just reading a tweet before. It was something that Elon had tweeted out earlier or retweeted. There's a guy named Sean McGuire. He's one of the I don't know what his role is with Sequoia Capital.
Sequoia Global, yeah.
Okay, so you know Sean McGuire.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Sean McGuire said this morning. If Group X, you can control anybody's opinion on anything through sampling bias. If Group X does a thing A 1,000 times, and Group Y does a thing 10 times, if the media reports on all 10 incidents from Group Y and only 1 from Group X, then most will believe Group Y does more. Now, we know in this country that you are most likely to, like a act of terror is most likely in the United States going to be performed by a white nationalist, like statistically speaking. But like you just said, you never see the reporting on that. So it's almost like you are allowing your social media to bias you.
Again, how many theatrics happened in New Orleans recently? How many of those were happened by quote unquote white supremacists?
A bunch. Multiple every year. We have far more attacks by white nationalists than we do by Islamic terrorists. Far more.
That's simply false, man.
No, it's not false. You just don't know.
Even
because
look
at excuse me. You don't know the data.
Yes, I do.
Okay, then how many attacks? Then name one attack by a white nationalist here in the United States.
I know there have been school pew-pewing.
Those are not what those are not white nationalists.
But if you take a look like at the data, take a look at the data
Excuse
from
me. I asked you.
people
I
in
asked you a very
prison.
Ohad. I asked you a very specific question, and you're doing exactly what they just tweeted about. Like you are refusing to acknowledge that, statistically speaking, at least in my country, you are far more likely to see an act of terror from a white nationalist than an Islamic jihadist.
That's false.
It's
That's
not
absolutely
false.
false.
No, no, no. It's
You're just
not.
spewing out fake news.
No, you are refusing to acknowledge it. I can
No,
pull up the numbers.
you're just not looking at the data.
I'm looking at that. What are you looking at?
Brother, I know that you
can't
live in
name,
an echo
you
chamber,
can't
but
name.
still.
No, you do, bud. You
No,
do.
you.
No, listen, we started this conversation with you asking me if I knew about the T attacks here in the United States. Yes, I also know about the white nationalist ones. You only know about the Islamic ones. You are in the echo chamber. You're the one that
No,
only
absolutely
knows
not.
one
You're
side. No,
refusing to look
excuse
at the
me,
actual
Ohad,
data.
excuse me. You are the one that only knows one side of the story. And I have another question for you. How come the
Sure.
same people that are talking about Islamic tea are also the same people begging for Tommy Robinson to be pulled out of jail, to be released? How come it's all?
What is your issue about
How
Tommy
come
Robinson?
all the same people who are pointing out this attack are also at the same time advocating for a known anti-Islamist and a known criminal to be released from
Tommy
jail? How come
Robinson
it's the same people? How come it's the same people?
First of all, it doesn't
First
say
of all,
it
please,
doesn't
Ohad,
it
please,
doesn't prove the
Ohad,
thing that you think it proves.
please answer the question.
I'm really trying. You are shouting every time that I open my mouth.
No.
So
every time I talk,
Tommy Robinson
you start talking.
Is literally a political prisoner at this point.
He's literally a multiple time convicted felon who has performed.
What he was convicted on?
He's been convicted like 8 times. Do you want me to pull his rap sheet?
What was he convicted on recently? What put him in solitary confinement?
It was, if I remember correctly, it was violation of his parole. Right?
It's because he didn't want to give them his phone.
Wait. Right?
No.
Oh, excuse me. So he wasn't someplace that he wasn't allowed to be in violation of his parole?
It's not about it. It's because he didn't want to.
Excuse me. The question I asked was he in a place he wasn't allowed to be in violation of his parole?
And
yes.
Answered you multiple times. What do you want from me?
The answer is yes. And is he a known schmatzi?
Absolutely not.
Or excuse me, he's not?
Absolutely not a schmatzi. What are you talking about?
Tell me about the British Nationalist Party then. How did they form?
He's absolutely not a schmatzi.
Tell me about the British.
This is why I said that you are
Excuse me. Tell me about the British National Party.
Tommy Robinson is not a schmatzi.
Tell me about the British Nationalist Party, please.
Why are you switching the subject?
Tell me about the British National Party, please.
No, let's talk about Tommy Robinson. Prove to me that he is a schmatzi.
Tell me about the British National Party, please. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera while we're doing this. But at some point, it would be dope if you would answer the question.
Brother, you are just making nonsense.
I am making nonsense. No, I'm not. What's the British National Party?
You are.
All right, well, I'll tell you.
Tommy Robinson is not a schmatzi.
You be
and I really wish that everybody looked
excuse
into
me, Ohad. I'm going to
explain. Because he's a fascinating human being.
Ohad, excuse me. I'm going to tell you. Since you don't want to engage in this conversation, sit there, shut up, and learn something, okay?
You're just making up lies.
Excuse me. While you're there, just sit there and learn something. British National Party, where did they come from? When did they start? Do you know when they started? Do you know who the founder was? Any of that? Great. They started in the 1960s. They were founded by a man named John Tyndall. John Tyndall is a known schmatzi. And they don't say schmatzi, but they're just like anti-Semitic and anti-Islam. And they have the same views. In fact, they had a group that they started that Tommy Robinson was part of called Combat 18. Have you ever heard of Combat 18?
No, I didn't.
Okay, do you know where the number 18 comes from?
You tell me. You're just
okay. Well, what's the
first?
What's the first letter of the alphabet?
A.
What's the 8th?
A, B, C, D, E, H, G, Okay, H.
Okay, and whose initials might those be?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have
Do you have
Robinson.
anything about recent
Robinson
parties?
has served 4 prison terms. 4. He's also been an illegal immigrant to the United States when in 2013 he used his friend's passport to come to the United States. And he came here to meet with a bunch of alt-righters. He went on when he was going sentenced to jail. Where did he go? Where did he go to get sympathy? Where did he go do an interview? InfoWars. He went to InfoWars, the most notorious alt-right outlet in our country. He went to InfoWars and begged for political asylum. He has a
why did you want political asylum?
He has a stalking.
You are really trying to avoid this.
I'll tell you, because he wanted political asylum because he was about to be sentenced for a stalking prevention order because he was stalking a journalist and her partner.
Brother, you have no idea who he is.
Oh, excuse me.
If you are calling him,
who's Lizzie Dearden?
Who's Lizzie Dearden?
Who's Lizzie
If you are saying
Dearden?
that he is anti-Semitic, if you are saying that he is all of this nonsense, you have no idea who he is.
Who is Lizzie Dearden?
Why would I know that?
Well, because that's who he was stalking. And why was he stalking her? What was her connection to Tommy?
Again, why would I know?
She
reported
on his ties to the British National Party and specifically Combat 18.
Brother is
and then he stalked her and her partner, and he got a 5-year stalking order. He's been to prison 4 times, dude. You know what he was before he was involved in politics? He was a hooligan. You know about hooligans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a hooligan. That's how he came to prominence. He's been a criminal his entire life.
Dude, literally
and he's absolutely Islamophobic. And the same people in America,
he finally spoke up about the bullying gangs, and nobody listened to him. Because of political correctness.
The same
and now
people.
You wish to do the same.
No. You just want
because of political correctness.
You just want to be a schmatzi. Excuse me. Thank you, Ohad. Appreciate it. I hate having to mute, but you won't shut up. You just want to be a schmatzi.
About random nonsense.
See, you're just racist, dude.
You are racist.
Against who?
Against everybody that doesn't think like
Tommy Robinson? I look an awful lot like Tommy Robinson for being racist. Don't I look just like him? I even played soccer. I've even been in some fights in some soccer games. I'm much closer to Tommy Robinson than I am to anybody born in an Islamic country.
Which is why you know nothing about them, yes.
Except for in this conversation, you're the only one that doesn't know anything. You said you started with New Orleans and Las Vegas were connected, and you know that, or the reason you said that is because you live in an echo chamber where right-wingers like Charlie Kirk and Tommy Robinson lie to you repeatedly to make you upset and think that the whole world is just going to go under because of Islamic jihadists.
Okay, let's say only 4 of them were because of Islamic radicals, not 5. Doesn't change the story here.
No, look, I have a real problem with Islamic terrorism. I also have
when people say
excuse me. I also have a problem with terrorists that are white nationalists. I have a problem with terrorism in general. You only care when it's Islamic terrorism. If it's not Islamic terrorism, if it's Tommy Robinson, it's dope. We love it.
Again, you're making up a lot of nonsense about Tommy Robinson.
Okay, well, was he a member of the British? Was he a member of the British National Party? Was he a member of the BNP? Was he a member of the BNP?
Of the BNP?
Yeah, was he a member of the BNP?
I have no idea what it is, man.
British National Party.
Do they even exist anymore? Didn't he?
No, he
explicitly said vote reform.
No, what he did is then he started the EDL. He started the EDL because the BNP wasn't like going after Islamic people hard enough. So he's like, I'm going to start the EDL now.
You also have a problem with 250,000 British women being
Excuse me. Don't change the
raped
subject.
by
Don't be the
grooming gangs.
Don't change the subject here. We're talking about Tommy Robinson right now. I appreciate it.
You are not talking about Tommy Robinson.
It's literally what I'm talking about right now. He started the
No, you really
he
don't.
started the
If
EDL.
you wish to talk
He
about
started
Tommy
the
Robinson, you
EDL. I
wouldn't
am
avoid the
talking.
fact,
I'm literally
the obvious
talking
fact
about him.
that he wished that everybody
All right,
voted
cool.
reform in the last elections.
Yeah, what else did he do?
No, so why are you
Well, he didn't do
claiming a
anything
random
else.
party?
So when he started the EDL, who did he go out and recruit first?
I have no idea, man.
Hooligans.
What tells you that there were hooligans?
Because he said that. He said that. Yeah, weird, right? And then they went out and they started threatening people. He got arrested for a fight between Luton Town and Newport County.
With who? Who was he fighting against?
I think he was I don't know which side he was supporting there.
Sure.
I don't. Do you know? I don't know Luton Town and Newport County. I don't know which of those teams he supports. Do you know? There were a lot of people arrested there. Then he got arrested for assault for headbutting a fellow EDL member. Did you know that?
I know that is a very.
You knew that? Did you know that part though? Did you know that he was also arrested for assault?
For headbutting somebody doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then what Tommy Robinson did, because he caught so much shit and he was so canceled that he went on this show called The Big Questions. Have you ever watched that?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, it's a show that the BBC made, and they debate like right-wing extremism. And basically, they took Tommy and they made a documentary called "When Tommy Met Mo," and it was Tommy meeting with a Muslim family. I don't remember their name, and he sat with them, and they had long discussions. And at the end of that, he was like, "Hey, I acknowledge the dangers of far-right extremism and the ongoing need to counter Islamist ideology, not with violence, but with better democratic ideas." And then 2 years later, he's arrested again for violence.
I really think that you are.
He said that British prisons are simply an ISIS training camp, and that they run. Yes. It is okay.
Do you want to take a quick look in statistics at how many Muslims are in British jail in accordance to the population?
Yeah, well, being Muslim doesn't mean that it is an ISIS training camp. That's you being racist.
If you are both a Muslim and violent enough to be in prison, then you probably have some connection to theism, to Islamic radicalism.
If you are in prison and you are violent enough to be in prison, then you must be an ISIS terrorist. But if you are a white dude in prison, you're innocent and you should be extradited to the United States. That seems like what you're saying.
That's absolutely not what I'm saying.
Okay, well, Tommy Robinson was in jail for being violent. Why doesn't that link him in your mind to white nationalist terror?
Oh, I think that this is the problem. You are basically equating all types of violence.
No, you just said.
If you analyze somebody, can we both agree?
Thank you, Ohad. You just said. You just do not. Ohad, you have like 2 more chances to not interrupt me. Okay. You just said that the reason that if there are Muslims that are in jail and then it must have been for a crime like that included violence. If they're there for a crime including violence, then they must be part of a T group. But when I said Tommy Robinson did the same thing, you're like, oh no, now you're equating different types of violence. See how nuanced your approach is when it's a white dude?
It's not nuanced. If you unalive somebody, it's much worse than headbutting somebody. If I'm going to kick someone, it's still not bad as knifing someone.
What percentage of people in Britain are in jail for schmurder?
Why would I know that? Do you know that?
Well, because you said that it's an ISIS training ground, and then you said, do you know how many Muslims are in the prison? And now you're saying it would only be people who committed schmurder, right? So now I need to know not only what percentage of people in the British prisons are there for schmurder, but then what percentage of those people are Muslim. See,
let me give you a statistic that you understand.
Excuse me. You used a blanket statement And when I tried to show that blanket statement goes both ways, suddenly you had nuance for Tommy Robinson. See how that worked?
Let me give you some statistics that you understand and you can look into it. Out of 35,000 people on the terror watch list in the UK, 44,000 of them are Islamic radicals. You can fact check me.
Wait, out of how many?
44,000 out of 35,000 people on the
that
terror
doesn't-
watch
brother,
list
you
in the
can't have-
UK
brother-
are Islamic radicals.
Brother, you can't have 44,000 out of 35,000. The way numbers work is 44 is higher than 35. So you can't have 44,000 out
If
of
my accent is too
35,000.
thick to you, is not a problem. We can just
It's not
talk
your
it over.
no, it's not your accent, it's your stupidity. You said 44,000 out of 35,000. That's not possible. That's statistically
44
impossible.
out of 35. If my accent is too big, maybe
Did you
that's
say
a problem.
44 out of 35 again?
45. 35.
35?
Okay, now you're just being annoying because you understand me.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. You said
Okay, so you're being either annoying or a moron. So I put it in the comments.
Did you not
for
say
so you can,
everybody in the
you can
comments?
read.
Everybody in the comments think you said 45 out of or 44 out of 35.
Okay, it's 44 out of 35.
So 44,000 out of the 45,000.
Yes.
Okay, I don't care. That doesn't answer my question.
Yes, it does because
my question was about prisons.
Your argument.
Hey, you silly goose. My question was about prisons.
In prison, it's the same thing.
Okay, what's the numbers in prisons? Okay, give me the numbers.
Yes, it's 1% of the population and 10% in jail. So they are over.
That's not the same. Wait, excuse me. 44. Excuse me. 44. 44 out of 45 is like what? Like 96%. Now you're saying that 96% and 10% are the same?
Okay, you don't now know how percentages like work.
If 44,000
1% of the population.
Excuse me. If 44,000, excuse me. If 44,000 out of 45,000 are Muslim, that's like 95, 96%. You just said 10% of the prison population is Muslim. 10%.
But how much of the population
10%,
in general?
10% 10% and 95% are very different percentages.
1% of the population, okay, is Muslim in the UK. Yet in prison, they are X times this amount because they represent 10% of the prison population. And this is only getting worse, okay? And this is data from 2012.
Good. I think anybody, regardless of their belief system, if they are part of a T group, I think they should be in prison. And the problem I have mostly with that is like you are complaining that another person who has ethnically targeted people is in prison, Tommy Robinson. You have no problem with Tommy Robinson being in prison for ethnically targeting people, but you've got
when he exposed the grooming gangs, was he ethnically targeted?
You have no problem with him. I swear, like, Ohad, I'm almost done with you. Don't interrupt me one more time, okay? You have a problem with Islamic T groups, and you say like, oh, they're in prison. But if it's a white T group, you want them out of prison.
Again, my issue, you can say that Tommy Robinson was already in jail 7 times and it was absolutely justified. I know that this time around, okay, I don't care what he did in his past, this time around it isn't justified because he's basically in jail for not providing his phone, okay, with what he wanted.
Which he was required to do based on the terms of what? Excuse me. Why was he required to give up his phone?
They wanted him in jail. And
no. Why? There were terms that required him to give up his phone. What were those terms?
You know that he is a journalist.
If you don't answer the question, I've just got to disconnect you.
Because
what
you
were
don't
the terms?
Disrespect
Why
him.
was he required to give up his phone? And by the way, to be clear, Ohad, I don't respect you. I have
Yeah,
very
I
little
know.
respect for
You
you. I
are
think you are
a moron. Yeah.
I think you're just racist, and you're trying to, on a day after people have lost their lives, you've turned this into a way to like go after Muslim people. And frankly, like I don't like any religion.
Yeah, I don't
I
like
think all
ISIS. You
religions
should
should go
probably
away.
don't like ISIS, bro.
I also don't like ISIS, but I don't like white
I'm
nationalists either.
starting to
I
doubt
don't
it.
like white supremacists either. And you love white supremacists. You love
Why
them.
would I
And
love white
you
supremacists?
kind of like these instances because it allows you to be
You're
racist,
just saying that everybody is a white supremacist.
and it
That's
provides
absolutely
cover
lost.
and it provides cover for you to be racist. So you love these days, which is why we haven't seen you in a long time. But now that there's a little bit of cover where you can justify your racism, you showed up today.
You're just calling everybody white supremacist
No,
because you can't
I'm
end an actual argument.
I don't know what your
So
ethnicity.
everybody is a white
Awesome.
supremacist.
I don't
Suddenly.
know what your ethnicity is. I said you're racist, and you are.
You're just saying that everybody is a white supremacist because
It's me and
It
you.
doesn't work
It's
this way.
only me and you up here. It's me and you, and I am saying that you are racist. I'm also saying that Tommy Robinson is a white supremacist. I'm not saying everybody.
Tommy Robinson-
I've specifically singled out two people, you and Tommy Robinson. I am not speaking about everyone. Just you and
When
Tommy
Tommy
Robinson.
Robinson was exposing the grooming gangs, okay, in 2011, because of people like you,
Like me?
whatever he said
Excuse
was
me.
completely
Excuse me.
avoided,
Excuse me.
and nobody ended
You're
it.
going to be muted for that. What do you mean people
Then you
like...
have 20.
Have a good day. Have a good day, Ohad. Have a good day. It's crazy. The racists are going to be out today. That was actually how I was going to start the show anyway, so it's good that Ohad came up for this. Let me give you the NBC News, the live updates here. Let's see, where is this one? That's 3 phones linked to Shamshad Din-Jabbar, the driver in New Orleans attack, have been recovered. Digital media exploitation is a priority to see what is on the devices and determine if there are any potential leads. There were also 2 laptops recovered. And they announced this. These are going fast. Wow. They announced earlier this morning that they have found no connection between the 2 attacks in Las Vegas and New Orleans. I saw somebody say, like, even though they rented from the same company, I don't know if you guys know who Turo is. Turo is a company that allows you to rent out your own car. So both of these cars were actually privately owned, and they used Turo to rent out their cars. So the fact that it was from Turo is probably because it's not that hard to rent from Turo. There's less hoops. There's less in-person contact. You just, with Turo, like I've rented from Turo before. I literally land and I go to the parking lot and my key is in the parking lot. I've done it in San Francisco. Like the guy picked me up, took me to his car. I took his car. I came back, gave him his car. He took me to the airport. That's how Turo works. So the fact that they were both rented from Turo doesn't mean that like they were working together. It just simply means like that's what people that's how people get cars to rent, and it's way cheaper. They're from the same army base. Well, do we know who the Las Vegas person is? Do we know them yet? Do we have a name from the Las Vegas? What's the name for the Las Vegas guy? Livenberger? Matthew Allen Livelsberger. Okay. Let's see. What's his story? He was currently in the army. He was on approved leave. Wow, from Colorado Springs. Interesting. No definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans. Why are they saying that this? Why was Ohad saying that this was also linked to Islamic terror? Is there any link here to Islamic terrorism? Wife kicked him out before Christmas because he was infidelity. Yeah, it just doesn't. Maybe I'm missing it. He was a Green Beret? Damn. Wow. It's a scorned man issue. I mean, only if you watch Fox News. There was a report that the two were connected. Okay, well, Fox News is already lied. We know that. Look at this from Mike Johnson yesterday. Let me pull up the one with my screen real quick. By the way, welcome everybody. It's great to have you here. I'll check messages too real quick, and then I'll show you this video from Mike Johnson. If you're just getting here, welcome. We had Ohad this morning, and that was a real rare treat. It's always nice to have Ohad. Below me are the pay links. If you want me to read your messages, send it to there. We're already on the board. Bree was first as per usual. Good morning, Daddy J. I hope you're ready for a day of unhinged shenanigans. It's fucking Thursday. God. I'm hyped the fuck up right now and ready to come ride you like the bull you are. I've been working on my knots to spur you and the poses I'll make while on top. No need to buck, baby. You don't need knots on spurs. Jesus. You get yourself some clip-ons. Tim says good trouble. Thank you, Tim. I don't know if that was like if that's good trouble's name. I don't know. Bree says way too early for Ohad to be up here. I came to flick my bean to you, not him. All right. And Cameron says, nothing like the smell of obliterated white supremacy in the morning. Now will you swiftly obliterate the buttons on my pants? I'll bring the rug. It's a ruggable. So super easy cleaning. We can go a bunch. Thanks, Cam. Thanks. Probably can't. Okay. Let me show you this Mike Johnson video. There we go. Here's Mike Johnson. And by the way, I got House and Habit a little upset with me last night. I am happy to see that House and Habit does know who I am and does not like me. House and Habit interviewed Mike Johnson last night and said something like, Mike Johnson doing these creator interviews, like this is great. The American people are getting the truth. And I'm like, and so I just asked her, I was like, what tough questions? When has he ever done a tough interview? Show me the tough interview. And she says that she claims that when her interview leaks, it's going to be tough. I wish that this had come out before then, because I want to know what she thinks about this. Here's Mike Johnson talking about the New Orleans T attack here, and just listen to how he says he could have stopped it.
And let me say something else that's obvious, and I don't know if enough attention is being paid to this, but we all know that for the last 4 years, the Biden administration has been completely derelict in its duty. The congressional Republicans, we here in the House and the Senate, have repeatedly asked the DHS under the Biden administration about the correlation, the obvious concern about terrorism and the wide open border. The idea that dangerous people were coming here in droves and setting up potentially terrorist cells around the country. We have been ringing the alarms. We impeached DHS Secretary Mayorkas in the House over that very issue and others related to it. So,
all right, first of all, that's a good point. I could have sworn, I'm with you. I thought Trump ended ISIS. But again, saying there is no link between the border and this attack. Nope, there is absolutely no link between these two. At least no link that we're currently aware of. And Mike Johnson knows that. And even if a link appeared, like, this is why they do this. If a link appears in the future, then Mike Johnson gets to say, I told you so. And if a link never appears, nobody's going to hold him accountable. Nobody's going to remember it. They're allowed to say and do whatever they want. And that's what Ohad's doing too. I think Ohad is likely paid. I think he's one of those people that is paid to come out and sow anti-Islamic sentiment. And that's exactly what Mike Johnson is doing here. And he's doing it through the border. This man was born in the United States of America. This man served in our military. This is two people who served in our military. Why isn't anybody asking the question, what the fuck is going on in our military? Why do so many people who served in the military wind up committing acts of violence? Why isn't anybody saying, hey, this man served in our military and then wound up joining the group that he fought against? Why isn't anybody asking that question? That's the question I actually want to know. That's the only one I give a shit about. Why are members of our military being pushed towards these violent acts. But no, not Mike Johnson, because you can't criticize the military unless now if this was a person who drove into those people and they had the same let's just say everything about it was exactly the same. But let's say this was a member of the LGBTQ community, it would be the woke mind virus, right? So no matter what happens, Republicans line up to create a reason why this person is the enemy and why Joe Biden fucked everything up. There's nothing Joe Biden could have done. In fact, maybe, just maybe, our FBI would have had more resources if they weren't so busy chasing these bullshit claims that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were running some like influence campaign all across the world and getting paid millions of dollars that they couldn't find. Maybe, just maybe, we weren't using our resources correctly. And that's a stretch. I'm sure that the people that are investigating counterterrorism, they probably have nothing to do with those investigations. But Mike Johnson wasn't advocating for more resources to be put towards going after or investigating or trying to track down counter-terrorists or terrorists. He was saying we gotta fund the border. These are the same group of people that are saying like that have spent the last 9 years denigrating the FBI, saying that the FBI is corrupt, they can't do anything, and now all of a sudden we have this happen, and it's because of the open borders.
So this is a big concern. They told us, Lawrence, for 4 years that the #1 threat was so-called racially motivated extremism. It was nonsense. This is the thing that we were all concerned about.
What? What does he think just happened? What does he think just happened here?
This is why we raised the alarms. This is why we passed H.R. 2, the strongest border security act ever passed by Congress. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate would not put that through. And
H.R. 2 wouldn't have stopped this. H.R. 2 wouldn't have affected this at all. What was there? Was his name specifically in H.R. 2? Like, H.R. 2 was like, well, we were going to put him in jail. It was in H.R. 2, but then the Dems are like, nah, he's got work to do. H.R. 2 had nothing to do with this. This is the Speaker of the House. This isn't just like a dumb guy on Fox News, although it is a dumb guy on Fox News. This is the Speaker of the House. This is somebody with access to virtually all the intelligence. This is somebody who is responsible for which bills come to the floor. He wants to talk about H.R. 2. Which part of H.R. 2 was left out in the Senate bill that came back to him that he could have voted on? Which part of H.R. 2 that came back left out the part that would have stopped this? That's the question. If anybody wants to get hold of House and Habit, maybe ask that question. What was the part of H.R. 2 that was going to fix this? Republicans today are fucking gross. Everything about what has happened in the last couple of days shows that America, especially on the right, is absolutely cooked. It's mush brain. Those brains have been in the Donald Trump microwave for 9 years now, and they don't know anything but anger and outrage now. And so if they can't figure out a way to tie their anger and outrage to the left, they just make shit up. And that's what we're seeing right now. They're just making shit up. I don't want to hear shit from these people about coming together. Donald Trump jumped on Truth Social before we knew any of these details. And here's what he says on Truth Social. When I said that the criminals were coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country. That statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. Except it didn't. Right? We were right. We were right. We said, no, you are far more likely to be a victim of a crime from an American citizen than an immigrant. And Donald Trump is taking a crime perpetuated by an American citizen and blaming immigrants. When we say, like, this reminds us of schmaltzy Germany, this is why. In the face of a story that is horrific, that absolutely happened, Republicans are lining up to punch themselves in the face with these facts. What's up, Tex? Let me switch. I wonder if I can switch this. Maybe I can't. What's
Hello.
up? Hey,
Hey, what's up?
good morning.
So good morning. How you doing? So like, yeah, I understand that, but I also like he could have been radicalized by people who have come here illegally. I think that's the part that like you guys aren't really understanding.
No, well, look, if that happened, we should discuss it.
Okay.
But Donald Trump doesn't, like, there's no evidence that that happened. So Donald Trump.
Yeah, we have to wait and see what happens.
Well, why
but,
doesn't
I mean,
Trump?
It's a possibility.
Why do you think Trump didn't wait and see what happened? Like, why do you think all these Republicans are lining up to blame this on immigration?
Well, probably because I don't know. Maybe they think that's what happened. Or they don't understand how a U.S. citizen would attack his own people with an ISIS flag, and that's of course they're going to jump to that conclusion when the borders have been open, or they're under the impression that the borders have been open for the last 4 years, and they tell you on the news 15 something million people came across.
Yeah.
And there are terror cells across the country. I mean, when I used to go upstate, I remember there was like this one area that you couldn't go to because there were radical Islamic people practicing for terrorism in that area. And the CIA, like actually, my ex's family member had worked in the CIA, and they were actually tracing this place that they were at. So like, it does exist.
I think it's interesting the way that you framed that, because I think you framed it honestly, and it makes me think that like I think you're starting to see the game that's being played and the wool that's being pulled over Republicans' eyes. Because you said it, you're like they are doing this because that's what they've been told and that's what they've been led to believe for the last however many years. So when this happens, it's easy for them to just blame immigrants because that's what they've been conditioned to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think like that, but why? This is the real question, and this is a question I don't know the answer to. Why? Why would Donald Trump send this message out? What good did that do?
Oh, I think it's because we're like getting ready for some type of war.
All right.
They're trying.
You're being real fucking honest today. I'm a little speechless with that. Yeah, like. I probably wouldn't have made that reach, but
yeah, they're getting us ready. Something's going to pop off in the next year, I think, maybe with Iran.
What I think it is that Republicans don't know how to do anything at this point other than divide. Like that's what they've been doing forever, and because it worked, like it helped Donald Trump win elections. It helped them gain power. They recognize that it doesn't matter. They can say whatever they want to their people. Their people are just going to buy it at this point. I feel like this was a real test of where Republicans are. And they failed with flying colors. Like it's terrifying how much they failed.
One of the things I thought was interesting with the Green Beret guy, he was also recruiting people for the Ukraine war, just like the guy Ryan Routh was, and Ruth or whatever, and they both were at the same military camp too. So I think you're right. I think we need to look into that freaking camp that all these guys go. What's going on over there?
Well, I think sometimes what happens is like people in the military, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the people in the military, but people in the military go and they follow orders, and a lot of times those orders aren't great, and they see like real world devastation, but they also live in a world that none of us live in, and so coming back from war, living in like looking over your shoulder every second. I understand like they're on high alert. And so even small innocuous things can feel like a threat to them. And I think that's what we're seeing here. It's like decades and decades and decades of American leaders sending people to war, and those people coming back to what the rest of our reality with so much PTSD and virtually no help to take care of that, and a culture that tells men just suck it up. You're in the military, be tough. I think that's what we're actually seeing. I think we're seeing a problem with American culture and American imperialism.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy though.
Yeah.
I just don't remember was there a lot of these like domestic terror attacks when Trump was president the first time?
I mean, Charlottesville.
Yeah, I don't really count.
January 6th. I mean, wait, why would you count New Orleans and not Charlottesville? It's the same thing.
Well, how many people were killed in Charlottesville?
I don't know how many. I don't remember how many.
To be honest, I know there was the march, and I don't really know how many people. What else? Oh, is that the church that
Just
they
what
shot at?
one person dead, 35 injured. I thought there were two that had died, but one. No, Charlottesville was the march where they didn't want to take the statues down, and then James Fields took his car and drove it through the protest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems kind of crazy the way to start. And I have a feeling there's going to be much more of these between now and the 20th.
I think the thing that's really hard for our perspective is that I see two groups of violent. I see two violent groups. I see the far right, which has kind of taken hold of the Republican Party, and I see the Islamic T groups, and then I see I see me in the middle, like begging for peace, and all of it, like we're all collateral damage between this racist, the racist maybe on the far right, and the ideological driven hate-filled people from these T groups. I don't see a big difference between the two. Both of them are committing crimes based on ideology, which is why I hate religion.
Well,
Which is why I hate all religion.
How about that guy that was radicalized by like Rachel Maddow that went on the baseball field and tried to unalive as many members of the GOP as he could?
I feel like this story might not be real. Let me see. So give me some. I don't know this story, but let's baseball. So he went on a baseball field.
Yeah, I think it was in 2017 and almost killed Scalise. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Why don't I remember this? Well, I don't. I don't remember him being radicalized by Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, he was a big fan of Rachel Maddow, they said.
Yeah, but she's not really radical, right?
Well, I mean that's what made him do it. That was one of the reasons why I did it, I believe.
Okay, I'm reading this now. I don't know. I mean, I've watched Rachel Maddow. I think that we have to be sometimes careful with saying that that because they watch somebody, it's extremist. And I know that we do that sometimes with people on the right, but I mean, I guess I don't see anything with Rachel Maddow here though. Like I'm Googling it. I don't see any connection. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. You can send if you've come across it, send it to me.
All I'm trying to say is like it seems to be on both sides. Like it's someone said in the comments before, like we are at war with each other.
Yeah, but I think that most Americans aren't, and that's what I'm really trying to say is like you have these fringe groups, and the scary thing is that like those fringe groups used to be on the fringe. Like all growing up, all those fringe groups were the fringe. But with the GOP right now, like they're in power. Donald Trump is literally seeing a fire and just like I'm going to dump a little gasoline on this.
Yeah, but I feel like the fires are starting because he's about to be president. That's what I think. Like I feel like that was a targeted attack on Elon and Trump with the Cybertruck. I mean, I shouldn't really say that because we don't really know yet.
I think that could be. I don't know if it would be targeted to them because they weren't there, but yeah, it could be used to send a message. I think that's entirely possible. But again, like it's the same thing here. Like if people like today, if somebody went, let's just say that ISIS had like a building in, let's say Egypt. They just had a building in Egypt, and somebody went to that building in Egypt for ISIS, and they tried to like do something violent. I would kind of, in retaliation, I would kind of understand that, right?
Yeah.
But this I don't understand. Like this isn't the left. We are radical jihadists and white nationalists are their ideologies are almost the same. The only real difference is they hate each other, but they believe a lot of the same things. Like they are misogynist groups. They want one specific ideology. They are anti-LGBTQ. Like they are actually very similar groups. They're not radical jihadists are nowhere near what any of us believe.
Well, can I ask you this then?
Sure.
This guy that did the thing in New Orleans, he donated to Act Blue. There's another guy who donated to Act Blue that did political violence.
Well, yeah, I could see, and I think that's probably fair evidence that he was a Democrat, but that doesn't mean that like we are like that, right?
It just seems there's a lot of coincidences recently that people
not
who
right.
donated to Act Blue do something like this.
Well, is it also a coincidence that they always find that donation to Act Blue? Like, because you recognize some of these people donated to both sides, but it was an Act Blue thing.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't really speculate because we have to wait until more information comes out. And I feel like a lot of the times they just like memory hole these things. Like, yeah, we're talking about it now, but in like a couple of weeks, it's just going to be like the same thing with the guy who tried to assassinate Trump. They just memory hole it. It's
How do
kind
you
of.
how do you think the reaction would be if, when this happened, Joe Biden had come out and said, I told you guys that MAGA was worse than we thought, and MAGA is making our country more violent, and the crime rate in our country because of MAGA is at all-time highs, and so now we're going to investigate this, but I want you to know MAGA is the problem. What if Biden had said that?
Well, I see where you're going with this, but Trump didn't blame this on the on liberals.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he blamed it on the people that the liberals let in, so maybe that.
No, he said that the Democrats and fake news media said that he was lying, and that this is proof that he was telling the truth. He was lying, and this is proof that he was lying or wrong. Maybe not lying, but wrong. This is proof that when everything we said all election, when Donald Trump said the crime rate's going up, it wasn't, and when he said that the crime is going up because of illegal immigration, we said no, it's not. Like, statistically speaking, percentage wise, people who are citizens of this country commit crimes at a higher rate than people who are not citizens of this country. And what we saw was a citizen of the United States committing this crime. And Donald Trump is now saying, like, I'm right. See, I'm right. And my biggest fear is that we now live in a country and we have an incoming administration where no matter what happens, they are going to blame Democrats and use it as a way to consolidate power and go after specifically minority groups.
I mean, yeah, they're probably going to do that so they can stay in power.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of crazy though.
Well, yeah. Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day.
See ya.
Right.
Oh, I almost did the end the live thing again. That was close. I don't know. I don't know what people are going to do. I don't know how you stop any of this shit, to be honest. But it's baffling. We'll keep going here. Let me check messages, actually. Tony Danza says, nope. Oh, wait. Maybe sent to. All right. Let's get the first one first. Tony Danza said, for the guy who shot Reagan did it for Jodie Foster. Nope, I'm wrong. It was John Lennon. Wait, what? I thought it wasn't it something to do with Jodie Foster? I thought that was right. Didn't he have a crush on Jodie Foster? Or you're saying it's the person who shot at John Lennon? It wasn't. It was Lennon or Reagan. Anyways, Jumar says for Trump, for Trump's titty milk, never forget. Elizabeth says, how did you like being the topic of Irish is Live? I hated it. I hated every second of that. It was terrible. Thank you for asking. Toby says, Texas, a lying racist POS. There's no evidence that Jabbar donated to Act Blue. I saw the screenshots. Are those screenshots faked? Who was it that put out? It was Clay Travis. So I take it with a grain of salt, but let's see. Has that been disproven? And then Ashley said, I finally got the nerve to tell my daughter's dad he is a terrible father. He said, that is really unfair. She barely knows me. That's tough. Sal said, I would not mind if you tell me to suck it up. All right. Thank you, Sal. And I think I got this one. Yeah. Wait, so did we find out on the what's his name again? What's the guy's first name from New Orleans? I can just probably search Act Blue donation. Did me get me his first name? I'm not finding Jabbar. That's right. Thank you. All right. I see screenshots. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people showing one donation in 2020 for $15 and one in 2014 for $5. Oof, big big numbers. He donated $20 whole in 2020. I mean, it's just a reach. This is what they're doing. But again, all this is just meant to like create division and create a war. Like, everybody knows why he did this. It had nothing to do with Democrats. It has everything to do with him being what's the right T word? Say that. That's what this has to do with. And we know why they hate. They tell us all the time why they hate America. They target America. They target Americans. To make this like a Democrat thing is wild. I guess maybe if you're a Democrat, like the path to becoming like a radicalized Islamist is more likely than like a radicalized white nationalist or Christian nationalist. I guess I could see that. I guess if that's the link that they want to make. The difference is none of those people ever rise to power in our party. None of them. You never hear their name until they did something. But on the other side, they rise to power, and that's the part that's disconcerting. Like if Republicans had come out and they were condemning this, and they weren't pointing fingers at Democrats, or if they weren't lying about it, and if January 6th, when that happened, if you had Republicans coming out and saying like, "Hey, this is bad. We don't condemn this." They did it for like one day, and then they changed their mind, went the other way. Oh, sorry, I didn't see people were in the guest requests. If you are a guest, I want to make sure just opposition. So I see random TikTok guy and see Nilan in the guest request. If you're not opposition, hop out. But I'll bring up the first one. Let's see. Random TikTok guy, welcome. Hello, random TikTok guy.
No, I'm Toronto friendly.
What's that? All right. Terrific. And see Nilan. Welcome. Oh, he's a friendly? Oh, okay. Thank you. Probably clicked on accident. Still trying to say Jan 6 with Antifa. All right, nothing there. All right, we'll keep going. This was obvious. Oh, I need to switch this screen over. Hi, Jen.
Morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
That subscriber thing is huge. Can you make it smaller?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. All right. Sweet.
Thank you.
I sent you the longer feeling thing.
Oh, I need that for I was trying to figure out the green screen stuff today, and I think I have to get like, if anybody's good at OBS, contact Jen maybe. My green screen, like it's not clear. I think I have to do some backlighting or something. I have to figure it out, but it looked terrible.
I thought we tested it yesterday. I thought it looked okay, no?
Yeah, so I thought too, but maybe just different lighting last night.
Well, last night were you elevated?
Not when we talked, no.
Oh, okay. But afterwards when you were messing
How dare
with
you?
it?
First of all, how dare you?
I mean,
Second of all, good guess.
when we looked at it when we were speaking, it looked fine to me. But anyways, so I have you updated the gift goal? It doesn't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It doesn't look like it's moved.
Yeah.
That was a rhetorical question.
Thank you.
So just want to remind everybody we've got a gift goal. We've got till it's currently 10:30 Pacific time. We've got till 1 o'clock, so we've got some work to do. It looks like on that one.
And Jen told me last night, she changed the goal. She's like, listen, it's got to be 3. And I said, okay, Jen, whatever you say.
Oh, I
so don't get me in trouble.
Well, because I've got to. Cheerleading is expensive. My spawn does cheer, and it's expensive. She wants to do competitions and shit. Spawns be
Inflation.
spawning.
Inflation's tough too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we got the gift card. Oh yeah, so it does. I think I sent you also. You need to move stuff over to the right a little bit too.
Move what over?
Look at my screenshot I sent you.
Oh, it's probably useful.
Yeah, that helps. It's because when people are in the box, it moves over.
Oh.
So here, Danny sent me one. So
This is fun.
Isn't it? Here's a new one with me in there, so you can see.
All right.
Work with us as we adjust our.
But then it's going to be off the screen the other way.
It'll be okay. You can just make it a little smaller. It was better. Is that better, guys?
And I'll move it over here. That's not moving. That just made it bigger. All right. Well, hopefully that's better.
Okay. Is that better, guys? Is it moved over? All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for dealing with our technical difficulties, everyone.
This is what it's like. You guys get to experience a day in the life of me. So if you haven't subscribed to us over on YouTube, please do that. We also have subscriptions here. If you guys want to, if you're a subscriber here, if you want to drop some of our fun emotes, you can be part of the cool kids with the cool emotes we have. And if you'd like an invite to the Discord, you can send any moderator a message and we can get you a link. There was the New Year's Eve live.
Yeah.
I put that in the Discord under, what channel is it? I think it's TikTok videos. It's one of the channels. RTP Talk, TikTok, and YouTube videos. We couldn't put it onto YouTube. So if you click on the link in that channel, you can get to that live. For some reason, it wants to have it be a required paid subscription benefit for YouTube. So we just put it that way. So if you want to watch the live, if you're in the Discord, that's where you can find it.
Perfect.
So you know what? I've decided it's okay if your phone autocorrects fuck to duck because you're still using foul language.
Stupid. Actually, before this live started, my daughter was playing in the next room over, and we cuss around our kid, and she just knows she can't say that stuff outside of our house if she wants to repeat it. And for like years, she would never say any foul language. But in the last, she turned 5, and now she's like, now I can say foul language. So her friend and her are out just playing just on this other side of the wall here before I got going, and I just heard them. They were saying fuck. They were saying it incorrectly, and I was like, what is going on? So I went out there, and I was like, what are you guys saying? And they both just stopped and went red. And they're like, well, it wasn't us. They're playing babies. And she's like, it was this baby. I think it was Rainbow was the baby's name. She's like, she's only 2. She shouldn't be saying that. But Llama, which is my daughter's favorite stuffed animal, is 4, and she can say that. So I just heard two 5-year-olds just sitting out there dropping F-bombs over and over. I think that might make me a bad parent. I'm not sure. But it did make me laugh. It was a good morning. And then I also heard her say she called one of her babies a punk-ass kid, which I liked. I liked that a lot. That's what I call her when she's being sassy. Shama, welcome.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey.
Does your hat say Old Town Golf?
It does.
Referring to Old Town Scottsdale?
It does, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's about,
you ever been to Boondocks?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. What's like this idea of you being looped in with like the you probably touched on it before, that guy Jeff, who like apparently was like scamming the left, but really like then changed his mind to the right.
Sorry, fixing the camera. I have no idea.
What's up with that?
I don't know. I don't know what people are saying. What are people saying?
Wasn't he like kind of they say grifting?
Yeah, people have said that. I don't know what Jeff's motivations were. I like Jeff. I have no problem with Jeff.
Yeah, no, I I do too. But like, why is everyone saying the same? Why is everyone saying that?
Well,
you know about it.
Well, if you're talking about Bobby, I mean, I guess I don't like saying Bobby's name because then he gets upset. He'll make videos about me. But Yeah, Bobby was trying to say that I was a grifter because I went on Jeff's live twice a week and he hosted debates. And that's literally the whole story.
Do you agree with anything regarding what the Trump administration wants to do with, when it comes to I guess border policy, or what they want to do with the border? Anything like, is there any agreements with anything like that?
I don't really know what their border policy is, to be honest. I know the mass deportation stuff. I'm definitely not on board with that. But the rest of their border policy, they've basically just said, like, we need to secure the border. I don't really know what they plan specifically to do. I mean, I'm not a fan of building the wall. I think that it's useless. It doesn't. I live in a border state. Like, there's already fencing down there that is probably more effective than a wall would be. Like, if you go down
Where
to
the border blocking, or where Rocky Point is?
yeah, Nogales. Yeah,
Yeah, Nogales.
yeah. You've seen it there. I mean,
Yeah.
would
I live
you
in-
rather
I live in
climb a
that
wall
town.
or go over that shit? Probably climb a wall, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but like, so you're kind of saying it's just completely useless.
I mean, like, there's some amount of deterrent that it's going to get, but like, our problems in this country when it comes to illegal immigration have very little to do with a wall. Mostly, it is people here on overstayed visas, and like 90% of it, and then you have a few stragglers. But as the last like 4 years, the problem we had was our asylum system was broken. So all the people that were showing up at the border were legally allowed to come into our country because of our asylum laws, and Congress just sat on their hands and didn't do anything to fix it.
Do you think that had to do with the Biden-Harris administration allowing that, or
No.
no?
On day one, they tried to change the asylum rules. They were taken to court. They were struck down in court, and the court said, like, you don't have the ability to unilaterally change these rules. It has to be done through Congress. And Congress, so then Congress wrote a bipartisan bill to try and fix it. And Trump said, hey, guys, don't pass this bill. And Mike Johnson does whatever Trump says. And so they didn't even bring it up for a vote.
Wait, okay, so you're saying that this border issue with the what is it, like, broken record of the amount of illegal immigration that's occurred under the Biden-Harris administration had nothing to do with the Biden-Harris administration, had everything to do with in regards to, I guess, loosening policies to allow people, like, for example.
Well, are you saying,
I've seen
real quick, you mean
policies
just,
like
you just mean immigration, right? Not because
yeah, well, like what you just said, finding loopholes to
Okay.
make it easier to claim asylum. Like, for example,
they didn't make it easier.
like
They didn't change
don't
any
think so?
No, they didn't change any asylum rules. The same asylum rules that existed under Donald Trump existed under Joe Biden. They didn't change the asylum rules. Congress would have had to do that. There was no act of Congress changing the asylum rules.
well, can't you create policies to make it easier to claim asylum? Like, for example, like, I saw a policy where it's like 30,000 Cuban agents, Venezuelans are allowed to it's something 30,000 processes per month or something like that. It's basically like kind of like finding ways to make it easier to get in our country, or is that incorrect?
Yeah, so like, Biden did an executive order that basically said we're going to limit the amount of people coming in, and that executive order, if it gets challenged, which it has been challenged, if it makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, it's likely going to be shut down as unconstitutional. So it's actually in place, and it's kind of working. But that would be ruled unconstitutional. So the president has like some leeway as far as using executive orders. Like, Trump wrote an executive order 2 days before he left office saying, "Hey, don't fuck with these Venezuelans. Like, we kind of destroyed their country, and they're here, and they need to be kept safe here. So don't deport them."
So who's at fault here for like this issue that we have now? I've heard that, are you aware of like who Sean Ryan is?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So he had a guest on 2 weeks ago, and it's pretty interesting how it's all like manifesting now. Sarah Adams, I think, is who the guest was, and she's like with the CIA, and she was talking about how there are 1,000 trained Al Qaeda terrorists within our country currently right now, and kind of talking about how they have like these invisible vests that can get through like medical detectors, and like the dogs can't sniff them out, and like they plan on a homeland attack here soon, and it's all kind of manifesting now. It's a pretty interesting podcast. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah,
Would you?
I believe that, and but that's not really Border Patrol. And if we do need to beef up our security, because I think I haven't watched that one, but I think if she's saying that these people are coming in through our broken asylum system and they're getting past screening, sure. But again, the only way to fix that is if Congress does something about it. I guess you could probably make some policy changes, but if you needed funding for like new detectors to detect whatever it is she's saying they can't
Well,
detect.
yeah, what she's saying is apparently they're like bringing, or like they're getting their supplies through pipelines or something like that. That's what she said.
What do you
I
mean?
don't know, like,
What do you mean pipelines?
like there's like, I think they're like pushing supplies over to the terrorists that have gotten through our
So
country.
not like an
through,
actual
pipelines.
pipeline, but like they're bringing stuff
I don't
through
know
the border.
I don't know what she means by that. Like the Russian pipe, like something like there's like pipelines connected to the United States somehow. They're that's what she had stated. Like I don't know what that fully means.
I don't know.
But
I'd have to watch it. All I can say is that like even that still wouldn't be. I think it's the wrong question. I think the wrong question is to say like who's at fault. I think what really needs to be done, and I think virtually nobody on either side ever does this. I think people need to tell the whole story, and the whole story is immigration was dropping. All through for the last like 20-ish years or so, even through the Obama administration, illegal immigration specifically was dropping. And we saw a massive increase in 2019. And that massive increase coincided with the destabilization of a lot of really poor countries who were hit by economic hardships, and our government pulled their funding. Like we fund other countries. And the reason we fund those other countries is so that they don't show up at our southern border. So you have you have a mess that's already happening, like starting to happen. Then you have COVID. COVID decimates these countries further, and they all show up at our border because they have nowhere else to go. So the reality is, like, we have a global environment where there are so many countries that are, one bad quarter away from having no food, no jobs, no income. And what are people going to do? Just sit there and die? No, they're going to go wherever they can, wherever they feel like they have some opportunity. And yeah, in America, we have an asylum system that says if you claim asylum, you get to go through that process. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that came that have most of the people don't have a legitimate asylum claim. And so they can come here and they can sit here. And I could imagine that a group like ISIS would see that loophole and be like, oh, we're going to come do this too then. So I don't doubt that that's happening. But do you trust
Tom Homan and the Trump administration that they'll hone in on the loosened asylum process?
I don't trust Tom Homan at all. I think Tom Homan is just like he's every bad cop I've ever seen. Like he just jerks it to violence. He wants to go in and use a heavy hand. He loves to talk about how he's been in Border Patrol for 30 plus years. Okay, well, what's the innovation from Border Patrol? Border Patrol didn't stop any of this stuff. He worked for ICE. They didn't stop any of this stuff. So I don't know why I'm supposed to believe in Tom Homan. Tom Homan's belief is that we will use a massive force to get people out. And I understand why some people say like, yeah, but maybe that's what we have to do. But I've never once seen a country round up people and force people out that didn't end in absolute disaster.
Didn't the Obama administration do that?
They deported a lot of people, yeah. I mean, a higher percentage of people than Trump did. In fact, out of the last three administrations, Trump's administration was the most ineffective at catching people here illegally and then deporting them.
In history, or
out of the last three. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty. I just wanted to hear your perspective on all of this. But yeah, no, I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, thanks, man. Have a good one.
See
ya. Clothing the borders. I like that. 5% of Trump I trust is the overlap with his selfishness to look good sometimes that benefits some. Yeah, look, I don't really care why somebody does a good thing. If they do a good thing, great. All right. I tried. This is hard. I feel like Grok is fucking with me because I tried to. I favorited probably 20 or bookmarked like 20 tweets yesterday. All of them have been deleted. Literally, 20 out of 20, let's call it 20, it was somewhere around there. Every single tweet. Oh, you got me. Who was that? Fuck you, Cam. Mute Cam for 1 minute. They've all been deleted. Republicans went on a tirade yesterday, just doing the finger pointing thing. This is Rob Schmidt. He's a Newsmax host, and he deleted this, but somebody screen grabbed it. Great start to the year. Democrat open border policies welcome a horror show in New Orleans. Don't expect an apology. They'll respond with a middle finger, working tirelessly to block immigration reform. Obviously deleted that. Then we have, Jesus Christ, Benny Johnson. You know how all these guys spent like most of the election saying that they weren't racist, but now they're just doing it. I want to show you this. This is the FBI agent. I don't know what her rank is or her name. I could have looked it up, but I didn't really care. This is a statement. This is just 40-second statement she gave yesterday.
Patrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative.
Sorry, it's only coming out of one headphone for me. So for some of you guys, you may not hear this. You'll want to switch headphones or maybe do speakerphone.
Lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference.
Okay, so this was yesterday morning. This was early, before they could confirm that it was a T attack. And what now what, Jen? God, interrupted my flow. What's up?
Are you showing a video?
Oh shit, I didn't even show the video. Sorry.
No. Okay.
I wasn't even paying attention. It's all right. Let me switch it.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for interrupting my flow. That was worth it.
No one saw what you're doing.
Thank you. I have to drop you before I can switch to that screen. Thanks. All right. Well, this is actually really useful because you're going to need to know this. All right. So here's the agent. And she's saying before, like, we don't know if this is a T attack. This is at I think it was 8 a.m. yesterday, maybe 7 a.m. So Republicans lose their mind, especially after it's been labeled a T attack. And they're all playing the same fucking game. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because I want to show every single time something happens that Republicans play the exact same game, and they all do it together. They do not give, at least these folks. I know that there are Republicans and some here that do care about America. Sorry, the goal's wrong on this too. They do care about America, but their leaders, their media folks, all they want to do is divide so that they can grift off of you. They're all grifting off of you. There's hardly a single honest one among them, including Benny Johnson. This is what Benny Johnson says. Hold up. An FBI agent with a nose ring, holy shit, who can barely speak coherent English sentences. I caught every word of that. We call these microaggressions. Told the media that a terrorist driving a truck with a ISIS flag was killing 10 Americans is not a terrorist attack. Seriously, listen to this. We need Kash Patel now. Once they had gone through the information and decided this was indeed linked to ISIS, the FBI came out and said, yes, this is a T attack. But Benny Johnson is going to go after... by the way, let's listen to it again.
Patrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found.
Is that coherent? Anybody having a problem understanding that? Anybody at all? I understood it quite well. And a nose ring. I also looked this up. So Benny Johnson brought up the nose ring. And the reason Benny Johnson brought up the nose ring, and he used it in another tweet, he showed, then he brags about his 6 million views. The reason he brought up the nose ring and what Republicans are doing is they're saying the FBI agents aren't allowed to have nose rings. And they're all showing the same portion of the FBI's website. What the FBI's website says is during FBI training, you cannot have any piercings because you're going through obstacle course, you're doing physical training. They don't want anything hanging off where somebody can be injured. There is, and except for women can have 2 stud earrings. That's it. Exactly. But what they're trying to do here is they see a black woman with a nose ring and they say, we're not going to say it out loud, but here's the dog whistle. Somebody who barely speaks coherent English with a nose ring. Even though the FBI, by the time he's tweeted this, the FBI has already said, yes, this is a T activity. And they are now going back to hammer a black woman for saying at the time, when they had not concluded that this was a T activity, that at this time it is not a T activity. Like somebody said like they're just doing it openly now. I remember James O'Brien. He had a call-in show one day, and everybody was upset because he said Donald Trump makes it okay to be racist again. It's true, and it's true. But what they'll tell you, and what they're saying is true too, is they go, no, he just doesn't censor speech. That's true. He doesn't censor speech, which includes racism. Now he censors speech if it's against him. If it's critical of him, he'll certainly censor it. But yeah, it doesn't bother Donald Trump if racist things are said. If his friends do racist things, he doesn't care. Because he's not worried about speech. Now we go. Then Benny Johnson just goes like, you think that's bad? Like he just goes full. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Wait, where is? Did I mix them up? I might have mixed these two up. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, here's the picture that he was looking at. So this is the zoomed in picture that he put up with the nose ring, and here is the notice here that it's always the AI generated message here. But jewelry and piercings must be small, simple in design, and not present a safety hazard. Facial piercings are not permitted except for female trainees who are authorized to wear earrings. You'll see under here it says basic field training course. These are the rules for basic field training courses. This is while you're in class. You can't have things dangling from your ears or your nose that might get caught and cause damage. So that's what we're doing here. Just the straight racism. Who's here saying Trump won? Yeah, brother, we know Trump won. Everybody fucking knows Trump won. What? You're welcome to come up if you want, but like, what do you think you're proving here? Showing up and saying Trump won? Yeah, we know, dude. We know, but you're saying it while we're pointing out racism. So are you saying Trump won, therefore it's fine to be racist? It sounds like that. It kind of sounds like that's what you're saying. Luca, welcome. What's up, Luca?
What's up?
You cut out there.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, you're good. What's up?
Yeah, so, I mean, you're bringing up the fact that they were pointing out that she said it was not terrorism.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The mayor, just prior to that, said that it was.
The mayor is not. The mayor doesn't make that distinction.
Hold on. That was the start of that miscommunication in general. The mayor said that it absolutely was.
Great. Why didn't Benny Johnson say that?
I mean, he was pointing out the fact that this lady said that it wasn't.
No, he pointed out that she could.
Why didn't you point that fact out?
I did point that out. I covered this all yesterday. You weren't here yesterday. I actually covered this part of the story, that the mayor and the FBI had two different responses. Who's the one that makes that distinction, though?
Yeah, I don't think that that's racist, man. I mean, you're really.
Excuse me. Who makes that distinction? Is it who decides whether it's a T operation? Is that the FBI or is that the mayor?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Who makes the distinction on whether or not it's a T activity? It's the FBI, right?
Well, they're both officials.
I know, but who makes the distinction? Like legally, who makes that distinction?
I mean, you'd probably think the FBI, but clearly they hadn't spoken about it prior.
Clearly, they hadn't. Yeah, there's a miscommunication there.
Clearly they had, because the mayor would not have said that.
No, she didn't
get that type of information.
She has since cleared up that she did not speak to the FBI before that.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, but that's not the part I'm saying racist.
So that was her opinion.
Yeah, and I think that she likely got that opinion from John Kennedy, because John Kennedy basically said the same thing, but he was more careful with his language.
Well, I mean, they were right.
Yeah, they were right. I'm not saying that anybody's wrong. That's all I'm saying here, is that they are attacking this woman for doing her job. Like, you don't guess. When you're in the FBI, you don't go in front of people and guess. Like 3 hours later,
Right,
the
but you can
FBI
also-
3 hours later, the FBI confirmed it. So the story, it should be, and this is why I have a problem with how Benny Johnson framed it. The story should be the FBI was investigating it. And when she was given that press conference, they had not confirmed whether or not it was a T activity. And a few hours later, after they had recovered everything from the crime scene, they had looked into this person. I think there were like 3 cell phones and 2 laptops. They said, yeah, that's what this is. And then they came out and they said, now we're confirming it. I want my law enforcement not to show up and fucking guess. I want them to tell me what they know at the time, and then if more stuff is added later, I want to hear about it later. But the last thing I want is for them to show up and guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think they should show up and say that it's not terrorism when they don't know. She messed it up in the first place by saying that it was not, even though at this moment it is not terrorism. She should have said, we are investigating whether or not this was terrorism. I think she framed it in the wrong way.
Who cares? Who cares?
People down there died, bro. People fucking care.
Yeah, and if she had got her words right, how would
I know
that have,
someone who died.
Excuse me. If she had said that a little more clearly, how would that have changed anything? Why is this a story?
What's going on down there right now?
No,
hold on. Do you know what's going on down there right now?
Would you mind asking or answering the question first before you go on to your question?
Yeah.
What would have
changed it by the? Let me say, please stop talking while I'm talking.
Bro,
it would have changed the public perception.
Listen.
The public perception.
Great. Now I'm muting you. Listen, dude. Chill. Just chill. I'm just asking you a question. Don't get all upset.
I'm trying to answer it.
Okay, well then it's fine. Sometimes people accidentally speak over each other. Just chill, dude.
Okay, gotcha. So it was the public perception, man. You have probably 700,000 people down there, 600,000 people, who knows, 400,000 extra people, hundreds of thousands of extra people down there right now. The public perception of whether or not it was terrorism is a major thing.
Why?
Is it not?
No.
No, it's not. It's not?
No. Why?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you know what's going on down there right now in New Orleans?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What? There's a lot of things going on in New Orleans. What do you mean? What is going on?
What big event is going on? Do you know?
Yeah, a college football playoff.
Right, and New Year's.
Yeah.
Okay, New Year's and college football playoffs. There are people that are down there to party in the French Quarter. There are businesses that are down there to do business the best time of year in the French Quarter.
Okay.
To have someone say whether or not it is a terrorist act, people need to know so that they can base their plans upon that information.
They do know.
I mean, what don't you understand about that?
They do know.
Yeah, but at the time they didn't.
That's because she didn't know.
So someone may have said, "Oh, well, it's not a terrorist. We're fine to go here and there." But
no, you weren't fine.
They'll change their direction.
You can't just go where it's locked down, dude. You can't just go wherever you want.
Bro, I'm talking about for the next day. At that time when we were getting that information.
Yeah, but
people were still all over the place.
Wait,
people were in hotels.
Hold on. Excuse me.
People are all in there.
I understand, but you're saying you're worried about the next day. By the next day, they had already cleared up that it was a T activity. So what are you talking about?
That's why I'm trying to tell you that she should not have said that it wasn't. That's what people have problems with.
But why?
Benny Johnson,
listen, I understand.
How he worded it.
I understand that her wording wasn't perfect. I'm asking why. Like, who the fuck cares?
Bro, the hundreds of thousands of people down there, brother.
Why?
What are you talking about?
Why do they care?
For their safety.
So
let me give you an example.
You're saying for like that
Listen,
excuse me, for that 2
Let me just give you an example.
Excuse me. So you're saying for that 2-hour window, people were more unsafe?
Absolutely. They could have felt more unsafe by not knowing what was really going on. Let me give you an example.
Nobody knew what was going on.
To go listen, if you're down there with your family to go watch the game,
yeah,
and you're trying to decide, the game has already been postponed for a day, you're trying to decide whether or not you're going to stay, move your plans, get your flight. You have your young kids with you. If this lady says, oh, it's not terrorism, then you may base your plans and say, okay, well, we're good to go. We're going to stay now. So we're not going to make plans for another,
and you just
we're
didn't,
not going to take our flight out tonight.
and you just didn't
But
pay
she
attention
said that
to
it was
the.
not.
So they just didn't pay attention the rest of the day. They just paid attention to that one press conference at 7 a.m. where they said they're continuing to investigate and they'll announce. She literally said, "We'll announce more details in 2 hours."
Exactly.
And so you're saying that because she didn't have all the details there, she didn't speak clearly enough. Which, excuse me, I actually agree. Like, I don't think that she was super clear on that. But what I'm saying
That's
is,
all
like,
I'm saying, man.
I
It
know,
affects
but
people.
I know. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It does, brother.
No,
what are you talking
you're
about? Why are
coming
you
up
arguing that? For
because
real?
you're coming up
Why
with
are you arguing
because
that?
you're coming up with the dumbest fucking hypothetical I've heard. Well, what if?
not a
Excuse me.
hypothetical. There's
Yes, it
hundreds
is.
of thousands
Okay.
of people
Who is the person who saw?
There's hundreds of
Excuse
thousands
me.
of
Excuse
families
me.
down there.
Excuse me. In order for
How
what?
dense are you?
Excuse me. In order for what you said not to be a hypothetical, certainly you would have an example of. And then decided to go through the city, which, by the way, was like the spots where this happened were all cornered off. There were police everywhere, and that person only heard that 7 a.m. and then they put their family in danger, which apparently their family's not in more danger because they didn't listen 2 hours later. Like this is the problem. No, the problem is
that could absolutely happen. 2
it
hours.
could,
You know what?
it could.
People in 2 hours.
You just
hold
said
on, let me
could.
finish.
No. You
Let
said
me just say something.
No. Because I said it's a hypothetical, and you're using
no.
if you use the word could, it's a hypothetical.
Bro, there's hundreds of thousands of people down there right now.
Okay, who's the one person? I've heard this already.
People,
Thank you.
Okay,
Terrific.
hold on. You think people are going to hear information from an FBI agent and just go, oh, let's just hang around and see how it goes? No. If they hear that information, people change their plans immediately at that point or go in another direction, but they were confused.
Oh no.
They have
okay,
no idea.
So travel.
I know literal people down there that were confused by this.
Okay, so travel
What don't you get about that?
So travel plans were a little messed up. That's what you're saying?
Bro, there's other parts of the city. If there was a terrorist attack, there could be other soft targets that they're going after.
Were there?
Why don't you get that?
Listen, brother.
Like, what are you even arguing about?
Listen, brother. The whole reason we're arguing right now is I said you gave me a hypothetical, which you did.
It's not a hypothetical, it's a fact.
Brother, no, it's not a fact. It is not. If it was a fact, you would have a story of somebody there who heard the 7 o'clock press conference and then went out and put their family in danger. It's just a
Right,
either
so
way.
you can say, "I'm not listening to your hypothetical." That's a hypothetical.
Yes, that's a hypothetical. So either way, I don't care. And that wasn't the point I was making. The point I was making is Benny Johnson is absolutely using racist microaggressions against a black woman.
It's not racist.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Could you understand what she said?
I thought she chopped it up a little bit, man. She was a little stuttering.
Excuse me.
She was not very clear. She obviously said something wrong, which you agree with. You agree with that. She said something incorrect and should have said it maybe differently.
This is the problem.
So, man, I mean,
this is the problem that
how he wanted to word it, as he wanted to word it like that, that's fine. No, I don't think she did good at all.
This is the problem we have in America. You are not able to engage in a conversation. I asked you a question.
You asked me a question.
What was the question?
Whether I thought that she was comprehensible.
Try again. What was the question?
What was your question? Ask me.
I said, did you understand what she said?
Comprehend, right? Did I comprehend what she said?
Did you understand what she said?
What does comprehend mean?
Oh my God. Just please. He said.
I said she's kind of.
Brother, shut the fuck up. He said incoherent. Incoherent means you don't know what she said. Everybody knows what she said. Everybody knows. She was not incoherent. So
you don't like that he used the word incoherent?
Correct.
Because she was talking.
Correct. And I don't like that he said it because Benny Johnson is racist and Benny Johnson is on the payroll.
Racist.
He's absolutely fucking racist. And if you
don't,
and you
were
probably
Benny Johnson. That's the problem.
I don't wish I was
wish
Benny
you were
Johnson.
Benny Johnson.
All right, have a good day.
You're an F-less TikToker.
Have a good day. I'm not interested in dick measuring against Benny Johnson. It's the problem we have though. Like does that make you at least appreciate text. Like, we can't even have a conversation with some of these folks. They just want to argue semantics. If you can't recognize that Benny Johnson, there were other FBI people who spoke that day. Why didn't Benny Johnson go after them?
Oh my God. It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
You're all right. Timo. Welcome. Timo? All right. No go on Timo there. I see Kiki. Kiki, I'm guessing we are listed as friends. I'm guessing you're not opposition. If you are, just in the comments say. And now I see Ria. Let's see. Ria, welcome.
Hello, sorry, I just took a bite of food.
You're good.
I just wanted to say that John Kennedy was reprehensible yesterday.
I appreciate it. Just taking opposition today. Thank you. I'll get to John Kennedy here in a minute. But yeah, John Kennedy was reprehensible yesterday. Let's keep going like this. I can't remember what exactly this was. All right, this is the other part that Republicans, because it's just outrage culture. So this is a headline from the AP, and it's been community noted, saying that the headline here is misleading. The headline is, one person is unalived when Tesla truck catches fire and explodes outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel. And Republicans, including Mike Lee, a sitting senator, are sharing this tweet over and over and over. And they think they're like, look, the AP owes Elon Musk and Tesla an apology. Watch what happens when I click on this link. Remember, here's the one person dies when Tesla truck catches fire and explodes outside of Trump's Las Vegas hotel. The headline says it's misleading. It was not a mechanical problem, which it doesn't say, by the way. It does not say that it was a mechanical problem. The explosives contained in the truck were described as fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, which authorities believed were connected to a detonation system. Okay. Well, what happens when I click on this link? Firework mortars, gas canisters, stuffed inside Tesla that exploded outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel. That's the headline. They're trying to tell you that the AP's lying and they owe an apology. Here's what happens in and this is where I want to see the pattern. Like, you'll see this all the time. Remember when Trump, the shooting that happened in Pennsylvania? The first headlines were, it was something like apparent shots, or like there was a firework. I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like, really quick, Trump hit the deck. He was rushed off by Secret Service. Not sure what happened. But when you put that link on Twitter, it just stays there. Like, the headline stays. It doesn't auto-update on Twitter. If you click on the link, it'll auto-update with every time they get breaking news, they'll update that title. But on Twitter, because of the way their system's set up, it doesn't refresh the title. And so Republicans lose their mind over this every single time we have an issue. AP reported this correctly. At the time, all they knew was one person had died and a Tesla truck had caught fire. They did not claim that the Tesla truck was like running and caught fire. They didn't claim anything. They just said, here's literally all we know right now. One person is not alive anymore and a Tesla truck caught fire. That's all we know. And then you click on, but Mike Lee, Elon Musk, Benny Johnson, they're all out pushing this lie. And why? That's the real question. The question that Republicans should ask themselves is, why the fuck do they either A, not know this, or two, if they know this, why are they perpetuating the same lie? It's because that's how they make their money. They keep you upset. Let me check comments real quick. Shit, I don't remember who was the last one. I think maybe it was Toby was the last one. Mark says, executive orders cannot change law, though they can change how existing law is executed. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say, like policies. Good point, Mark. Michelle says, it's just a party. Thank you, Michelle. Sheila says, in honor of the big snow that will hit my area this weekend, why did the snowman suddenly smile? He could see the snowblower coming. Yeah, brace yourselves this weekend. Some of you are going to get some snow. Bree says, if y'all need some insight into how law enforcement investigations work, please let me know. And Luca, let me hold your hand with a napkin when I say this. Pull that stick out and stop using others as tokens and arguing hypotheticals. Also, who are you to say if something is racist? Good point. Tex, Bree says, Tex, I need you to find who is a DEI hire and what it means. I can take that for you. DEI hire is, just kidding, Tex. I'm not going to answer that for you. Kieran says, we like you better than Benny Johnson. Thank you. Thank you. I am just, look, I should add that to my bio. I'm a F-list TikToker. I could give a fuck. If I could give a fuck about any of that stuff. At least, like, I'm not Benny Johnson. I don't want to be Benny Johnson. Would I like to have Benny Johnson's reach? Certainly, I would like to have Benny Johnson's reach. I wouldn't like to get it in the same way that Benny Johnson got it, though. I wouldn't like to get it by getting paid off by Russians to spread fear-mongering propaganda. I don't think that would be a great way to earn your money. Let me just do some math here. There we go. Update this. Whoops. Which one is it? Is it this one? There we go. Sorry, still getting used to the new screen. Okay, on to the next part. Here's Elon doing the same, honestly, literally just the same shit as everybody else. And this is what's said. Like, he says you don't hate the legacy media enough, and he's just showing these screenshots. This is Tesla Cybertruck catches fire outside Trump Hotel. Tesla Cybertruck reportedly catches fire. Reportedly, like they're not even sure if it did. One dead after Cybertruck explodes outside the Trump Hotel in Vegas. One dead after Tesla Cybertruck explodes outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. All of this is true. All of this stuff is true. And of course, he didn't include links, but I went to each of those links, and every single one of those, MSN, even Inkle, New York Times, and The Guardian, all of them, if you click on those links, have the updated information. All of them. But Republicans are just like, they just want to be pissed off. They just want to be outraged. They just want to blame everything on lefties. And the reason for that is because there is no actual ideology. Donald Trump hasn't released a platform like ever. He just doesn't do it. We have no healthcare plan. We have no real tax plan. We have no real border plan. We have no real national defense plan. We don't have any plans because they don't really give a shit about any of that stuff. They are here to get attention. They are here to get clicks. They are here to get likes. They are here to get money. And they know that the best way to keep their folks engaged is to just hit them one after another. Like, just keep hitting them with stuff that's going to make them mad and get them so spun up into oblivion, like like Luca, that literally you can't have a conversation with that person. You can't ask a simple question like, Luca, that's a hypothetical. No, it's not. It could happen. Yeah, that's a hypothetical. Fuck you, F-list TikToker. It's like, all right. Like, we can't even agree on what a word means because they are so wound up and they are just conditioned all day, every day. Be mad, be mad, be mad, be mad, be mad. And they get it. That's why I know people are hammering Tex right now, but take Tex versus these folks. There are at least some people who recognize, holy shit, like, they really try and condition us with lies. They really try to hit us with lie after lie after lie after lie. And so Tex, you should be mad at Tex still because he's still on that side. He sees it and he's still on that side. That's the fair criticism there. But most people that we deal with on this app, they can't even get that far. They can't even get outside of their own rage to recognize that what's happening right against them is just conditioning. So I'm going to guess that this would also not be considered racist, but here's Mike Davis, who says, 1, facial recognition software, 2, revoke visas, 3, denaturalize citizens naturalized within 10 years, 4, send them home. And he's using this video of free Palestine posters. People who just... I'll take that down. These are just people marching with free Palestine signs. But again, he sees this. He sees Islamic terrorism, all Muslims bad, deport everybody. Hey, Jen.
Hey, it's really small. I don't know if you've switched screens. It's really small.
What's really small?
If you look at the screenshots of the step, I don't know if you've got a different view, but
Nope.
it's very the Video is very small.
Well, it's because it doesn't take up the full screen. So like this video that's going right now, it takes up like a third
Did you
of the
see
screen.
the screenshots that you were showing before within our chat?
I'm looking at it. It always looks like that.
It's usually bigger.
How? How would it be bigger? It's
usually bigger.
Where would it go? Where would I drag it to make it bigger?
No,
I guess I can take it. I guess I can take it up. I guess
it's a lot smaller than it was.
Let's see what it looks like there. How does it look there, guys? I can take it up higher.
I'm not just talking about just this one, like the AP article that you had, that you were showing the AP article. Couldn't read the words. It was really small.
I mean, I can pull it up to the top there. If you look at the screen that I don't know where else I can put it. I'm not sure. I don't know why it's smaller than normal. I'm looking at the preview and it looks the same.
Yeah, the preview, it's different than what we see. So, okay.
All right. Sorry, I don't know what to do. I'll just read stuff for you. Sorry, guys. The whole screen is leaning left. Wait, what? How was the whole screen leaning left? It's got to be a TikTok thing. Like when I hit the preview, everything looks fine. This is bizarre. No, Cam. Friendly Fridays, Cam. Good Lord. Friendly Fridays, Cam. Friendly Friday. You don't need to come up here every day. All right. All right. So that was Mike Davis, and then just one more from Elon here. I think we actually covered this when text was up. But this was the text. I'll just have to read it to you. You can control anybody's opinion on anything through sampling bias. If Group X does thing A 1,000 times, Group Y does the thing 10 times. The media only reports the 10. Then most will believe that Group Y does more than Group A. I thought it was like Elon put that up, and he's like, he said something like legacy media. It's like, dude, that's literally what you're doing. It's literally the thing that you guys are doing right now. I don't have to bring up Cam. How dare you? How dare you? Now it's big enough. What did Cam say? You got Cam's in the Discord. There are no special privileges for Cam until he gets a better team. And then this is what I was talking about with text. So just so I can show you. Elon and Charlie Kirk they're both here. Charlie Kirk says, if the UK won't free Tommy Robinson willingly, then the US should begin exerting economic and diplomatic pressure to force the issue. Elon Musk says, free Tommy Robinson. Guys, this is legitimately a schmatzy. And not schmatzy in the way, like, I'm not using it in a way to like slander somebody. I'm saying like that's who he is. That's what he does. That's what he's most famous for. And you have Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk, who are weirdly, consistently, two of the people who consistently are accused of aligning with the alt-right and the schmatzis. Consistently. If I were them and I was always being maligned with schmatzis, I'd stop hanging out with schmatzis. I wouldn't tweet support for schmatzis. That's who Tommy Robinson is. You can try and spin Tommy Robinson the way that Ohad did, and in the same way. Tommy Robinson is a schmatzi in the same way that Andrew Tate is a trafficker. You can spin it any way you want. The data is overwhelming that this is a schmatzi. Literally, he was in a group named after Schmittler's initials. Combat 18 was literally like a rebrand of Schmatzi Germany, the SS. That was their whole thing. They were a combat group with the initials of Schmittler, but in 1990 or in the 1990s. That's who this guy is. You have the most prominent Republican who, by the way, just hosted America Fest, just had a bunch of people. Shout out Cenk Uygur. Shout out Cenk Uygur for going and sitting on stage with an actual schmatzi who is saying we need to protect the other schmatzis. The other schmatzis around the world are being picked on. And Young Turks is out there like, oh, no, this is fine. It's fine. By the way, let me tell you something about the Young Turks. The Young Turks, if you listen to their show now, you'll notice that they say the name of their Polymarket Studio. Isn't it interesting how Young Turks all of a sudden got a bunch of money from an overseas casino that is very tied to alt-righters? They took a big deal from them. Suddenly, they are a little transphobic, and suddenly they're just cozying up to right-wingers, and they're trying to convince you, like, no, like, this is about populism, this is about winning, this is about doing things for the American people. Yeah, it just happened to coincide with you getting a bunch of money from the same people that sponsor their shows. That's no coincidence there, right? None whatsoever. If I was Benny Johnson, I would sell the fuck out. By the way, if I was, like, it is not hard to be Benny Johnson. What you can say about Benny Johnson and virtually every other person on the right is every one of them is a failed actor, because, like, normal people don't buy their bullshit. But who does buy their bullshit? Republicans. Like, you can be a shitty actor and just go be a Republican commentator. They'll believe anything. They don't give a shit. They'll literally believe anything. Like, Benny Johnson, oh yeah, this is our guy. He's just a failed actor. That's his qualifications. That's that Michael Malice. Is it Michael Malice? Michael Knowles, excuse me. Michael Knowles, that's his qualifications. Ben Shapiro went to law school, but then he tried to be an actor. He tried to go write movies and be an actor in Hollywood, and he failed. So he's like, what's the next best thing? I got to pick an audience that's dumber, that doesn't give a shit about, like, if this is real. And he's like, oh, Republicans, obviously. He got caught cheating on his wife with a dude. Is that true? Which one? Michael Knowles? Michael Knowles was he was in a video or a movie, which is ironic. Like, if there's ever a gay person in a movie, Michael Knowles is furious. Like, the only thing he was ever in, he played a gay guy. He's super upset about it. Let's see. Bree says, all right, I'm shooting my shot respectfully. Want to go on a date? I promise to behave. You can even yell at me to shut the fuck up. 2025, I don't think is going to be a dating year for me. I don't think this is going to be a year of dating, but I love you. If you need help making it bigger, all you had to do was call me. I guarantee I can help. I don't doubt that. Now share with the class how many inches you are down there, please. I don't know. I've never measured my thighs have gotten a little smaller since I stopped playing soccer. I'll have to measure the circumference. I assume that's what you were talking about, is the circumference of my thighs. William said, this is to help with your goal. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. Date can mean anything. Oh, all right. Well, if date can mean anything, Bree says, I need people to take a class to learn how law enforcement and the media interact early on in investigations. Yeah, like, we've lost that. Like, law enforcement is careful. Media is supposed to report it. And we've now become, like, we're so desperate for outrage that when we don't get quick answers, we just start making shit up. Roxy says, what do you get when you cross a Jehovah's Witness with a Mormon? I have no idea, but I can't get them off my porch. Facts. I remember, like, when I was first a Mormon missionary, you have, like, a trainer when you go out first. So somebody who's, like, been there for a while, and they teach you how to missionaryize. And if he knew somebody was home, but they weren't answering the door, we would sit there for like 20 minutes. He would just keep knocking. Once he was no longer my trainer, I did not continue that practice. In fact, I didn't knock a whole lot of doors after that. I chose different ways. I started playing basketball with people to try and convert them. Let me add that up real quick, and let's hear the song. He's trying to fuck RTP. Should make him better than a cherry. Breeze trying to fuck RTP. Breeze trying to fuck RTP. Yes. Date. I think it was date now. I think that's what we're doing. Boom. All right. Tesla driver had a gunshot wound. Tesla driver. Oh, probably. I'm guessing self-inflicted on that one, Tex. That would be my guess. That it would be self-inflicted. I wondered. I wondered where. Because when I saw the video, obviously somebody parked the Tesla there. Oh shit! I switched videos. Obviously somebody parked the Tesla there, And I was wondering where the owner of the Tesla had gone, but he was in the car. I would too. Oh, Jesus, Red. Jesus. Jesus. That's not. I shouldn't be laughing at that. I really shouldn't have laughed at that. That was tough. I think I covered who Tommy Robinson is. We probably don't need to get into that anymore. All right, we're going to continue where we left off yesterday. Again, shout out to the research team for putting these together. We've got highlights of what happened in Congress this last year. I'm going to start with something that didn't happen in Congress, but was also one of my favorite moments. I think Bev put this one up. This was for me one of the best moments of 2025 as far as I just want to see people be put in their place, and I loved this one.
Carthy, how you doing? You're now here on the convention floor. Have you spoken to President Trump since the attempted assassination on Saturday?
I spoke to him the next day, and I will tell you, when he tells the story of literally hearing the bullet go through his ear, and you saw last night, it's a different President Trump. I mean, and the first thing he thought about... How so? Well, the first thing he was thinking about is Corey, who lost his life there, and the families that got hurt. He was concerned about that. He was also concerned about how do you...
Actually, if you do remember, the first thing he was concerned about was getting his shoes back on. Like when they picked him up, he's like, give me my shoes. And then the second thing he was concerned about was fight. And then he brought up... Corey came up a little bit later. I wouldn't say that was the first thing he thought about.
Unite America, and how fortunate he was to...
And also fair enough, he didn't know who Corey was. Fair enough. But to say that Donald Trump cared about... He brought out Corey's uniform and hugged it and brought up the family, and then the rest of the time was mostly spent talking about what a hero he was and refusing to this point still, we have no medical record of what happened to his ear.
Still have his life. And I watched him last night, even when he was here, you saw him more somber. You see him more disciplined. I think President Trump, as a party, is stronger than he's been at any other time.
That
I think
turned
he's
out to
more
be true.
Focused and disciplined. And I think he realizes he only has 4 years. But if you think for a moment, how would you have reacted if you'd been shot? No one can plan that. And you look at what he did. He stood up, make sure that person did not win, and make sure America wins. I think he's probably in his best position right now to serve.
Well, and Trump is obviously known for his divisive rhetoric, things that he said about Paul Pelosi after he was attacked, for example, that people were highlighting. Do you think that changes in light of Saturday?
I hope so. And President Biden saying the bullseye, and you got, when I was in Congress, I mean, it's...
What's up, Gilbert?
Everybody should pull back. That just doesn't even mean just elected officials, social media, and on there. That we should respect people's opinion. I mean, you look what happened to Paul Pelosi. You look at Gifford, Steve Scalise. Today, a person was just sentenced that tried to kill my son. So it happens so much, and people think it's just like, no, we've got rhetoric on the social media going, and we've got mentally ill people that take that to a different level.
So after what happened on Saturday, I'm told the Trump team reached out to Nikki Haley. They initiated that outreach, and she will be speaking in a primetime slot here tonight. She's obviously someone who on the campaign trail said that Trump was unhinged, diminished, that he wasn't fit for the office. What do you make of the fact that
Sorry
she
for
is
people who
getting a
can't hear
primetime
the
slot
video.
tonight?
I think that's very important. It shows how united we are. I remember in the Democratic debate what Kamala Harris said about President Biden when they were running. And so you have a campaign, you have difference of opinion, but what you're seeing here, a more united Republican Party. Think back 8 years ago, Ted Cruz wouldn't endorse. Senator Lee was saying no to President Trump. Now you've got Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis. You're watching a united party.
Yeah. That's the funny part. Like, Mike Lee was saying no. Ted Cruz was saying no. Why? Remember what Ted Cruz said? He's like, he's a charlatan. He's a liar. He has no principles. Nothing changed. Nothing changed for Donald Trump. He did the exact same thing. What happened? It's their constituents turned on them. I'm old enough to remember when Mike Lee didn't sit on Twitter and post conspiracy theories. Like he got co-opted hard, and so did Ted Cruz. Both of them just like they went from reasonable to alt-right as soon as Donald Trump whooped their ass. They thought, you know what? The American people have principles. If I stand up and show the American people that I'm willing to stand against my side, then they'll respect that. No, the fuck they didn't. They did not respect that one bit. They tried to run you out of the party, and your only option was capitulate.
like we haven't been in the past.
Is the party itself united, though? I mean, you yourself were the victim kind of the Republican Party, at least on Capitol Hill, being fractured in the House. I mean, what does that look like going into the next 4 months?
Oh, we're much more united. I mean, think about that. That was all the Democrats and 8 Republicans. One who's not coming back, and then the other part that you have, and the other part you have is one person who raised the issue. He's got an ethics complaint about sleeping with a 17-year-old. So that's the way they would go. So that's the biggest challenge we have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ricard.
These are fucking children. These are your whole party's children. The whole party. You're full of a bunch of children. It's Matt Gaetz going, what time are you speaking tonight? Huh? If you spoke tonight, you'd be booed off the stage. Because Kevin McCarthy wouldn't drop an ethics complaint about him. That was one of my favorite moments. Thank you, Bev, for sharing that one. Then we have, Jesus, this one's tough. But I think this is actually pretty on brand here. This is John Kennedy.
And according to...
and he is, I'm trying to remember the name of the person that he is interviewing. I'm so bad with names. Let me do this. She's the director of Arab American Institute. I don't remember her name, but it'll be in front of her. So this is, well, we'll just play it.
Your website, you're also, I'm going to quote here, a longtime Democratic Party activist who served as a member of the 2016 Democratic National Convention's Platform Standing Committee, close quote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You support Hamas, do you not?
Senator, oddly enough, I'm going to say thank you for that question because it demonstrates the purpose of our hearing today in a very effective way.
Let's start first with a yes or no.
Hamas is a foreign terrorist organization that I do not support, but you asking the executive director of the Arab American Institute that question very much puts the focus on the issue of hate in our country.
Well, I got your answer, and I appreciate it. What is the, you support Hezbollah too, don't you?
See how I just said 2? She just said, no, I don't support H group. And now he did another. He said 2. I'm telling you, like they're just programmed. They don't hear anything. This whole fucking party has been co-opted and turned into a cult. Damn near every last one of them. And the only ones who aren't willing to capitulate are run out of the party. Our live is going to be restricted visibility for the rest of the live. They have now taken it down for reproduced content, which is crazy. So if you do want to share this with your Republican friends, go ahead. But we will be live restricted the rest of the time. But that's what we have here at this party now. Is we just have people that they hear the answer and they're like, oh yeah, you said yes, I said no, yeah. So you support this group too? No, I just said no.
Again, I find this line of questioning extraordinarily disappointing,
Is that a no?
Senator. That
Or
you have Arab American constituents that you represent in your great state.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, but my time's limited, and I apologize, but is that a yes or a no?
Yes or no question to do I support Hezbollah? The answer is I don't support violence, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or any other entity that invokes it.
You can't
So
bring
no,
yourself to say no, can you?
No, I can say no.
She just said no twice. Isn't that the craziest shit? Like, when we say like you can't, how do you have a conversation with these people? She just fucking said no twice. And she's had to repeat it. So she said no to both questions multiple times. And he didn't hear any of that. You just can't say no. She just did. Play it back. She said no 7 seconds before that. Let's go back.
Constituents that you represent in your great state.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, but my time's limited, and I apologize, but is that a yes or a no?
Yes or no question to do I support Hezbollah? The answer is I don't support violence, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or any other entity that invokes it.
You can't
So
bring
no,
yourself to say no, can you?
No, I can say no. I can say yes.
But
What
you
I
haven't.
can say is
You just
your
can't
line
make
of
yourself
questioning.
do it. Do you
Senator,
support or oppose Iran and their hatred of Jews?
again, I'm going to emphasize, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, none of them is going to, this
You
discussion.
can't bring yourself to say no, can
Sir,
you?
I don't support.
It's real simple.
Excuse me, I'm going to,
Ian,
if I may,
no,
as a
no,
Muslim
no.
woman, sir, I'm going to tell you I do not support Iran. But what I will tell you is that this conversation.
I'm running out of time.
So now she's just answered that question, which he didn't hear.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. You called our decision to cut funding. You called our decision to cut fund. Well, first, what's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency?
It's UNRWA, which is the institution that exists to provide services and aid to the nearly 6 million Palestinian refugees.
And you called our decision to cut funding for them, quote, an incredible moral failure, close quote.
That is absolutely correct. But again, I would suggest that conversation is about foreign policy.
We did that because 9 UNRWA staff members were fired for actually helping Hamas on October 7th. Isn't that the case?
I don't believe that that's correct in terms
Let
of.
me ask you one more time. You support Hamas, don't you? You
Sir.
support UNRWA and Hamas, don't you?
Sir,
Please.
I think it's.
Good point. Who said that? Yeah, that also turned out not to be true. They were fired, and it turned out not to be true that they were supporting them. It's true. Literally said no so many times.
Exceptionally disappointing that you're looking at an Arab American witness before you and saying you support Hamas.
You know what's disappointing to me?
I do not support
you can't
Hamas.
Bring yourself
I do
to
not
say
support Hamas
You don't
or
support UNRWA. You don't support Hamas.
She
you
just
don't
said
very
it.
clear in my
She
support.
just said it 3 times. Right before he said that, she said 3 times, I do not support H group. 3 fucking times, and he's still, you can't bring yourself to say it. What do we do about this? How do we fix this? I'm at a loss, like watching these videos, watching what happened the other day. Like, I don't know what you do about this. I honest to God, I don't know, other than just keep pointing it out and hope to God that enough Republicans see how fucking insane this is and go, all right, I don't want to be part of that group anymore. There's not a rational human being on earth that watches this and says, oh, yeah, no, she totally supports H group. She has been definitive on all of it.
Hezbollah and you don't support Iran. You should hide your head in a bag.
Yeah. Yeah. To an American woman who is Muslim and who is the director of the Arab American Institute. Someone who is trying to make sure that our relationships with Islam and Muslims here in the United States are good and across the country, that we have more peaceful relationships. And he ended that saying, you should put your head in a bag, which I'm not sure the reference there. I'm not sure if he's comparing that to a hijab or if it's something more sinister than that. Either way, what do we do? I mean, what do you do about John Kennedy? And John Kennedy goes home and he gets no pushback from any of this shit because that's exactly what the people want to hear. They just want to hear you be Islamophobic. And you're going to see all day today, all over TikTok, you're going to see these Islamophobes show up and they're going to try and turn this into an anti-Muslim thing. They're going to do it. And my only advice, and hopefully we give this advice to anybody you can, don't engage with that shit. Don't engage. Force them to defend it. Force them to be very specific. Don't let them do hypotheticals. Don't let them use statistics. And if you find yourself on a live with somebody who's spouting that rhetoric and you don't feel comfortable defending it, don't engage in it. Because that's where this stuff grows. The reason that they go live to live to live is they're trying to find somebody who will slip up. They're trying to find somebody who will claim something didn't happen that did, and then they get to say, see, these lefties, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. We're protecting them from these Muslims. Don't involve yourself. Like, don't platform. Don't platform people if you can't go down that road, right? And if you do get to that point, there's nothing wrong with saying like, all right, see you later. Like we're at the end of what I know, kind of what I did today. I'm far from an expert. I'm very fortunate to have some people that I can send messages to when I need help on these types of issues. Some brilliant people. But that's the only advice I would give. And I would give that advice probably to myself as well. All right. Here's John. Here's John. All right. Listen, we hate John Kennedy. Everybody agrees with that. We are going to make fun of him a little bit too, though. Now that we've had that, I don't feel bad about making fun of him.
Mr. Grunberg, have you ever heard the expression, a fish rots from the head down?
Yes, Senator.
I understand I listened carefully to your testimony. Do I understand you to assert that you believe you're the person to clean up the FDIC?
I do, Senator.
Do you also believe that Elvis is alive?
Not to my knowledge, Senator.
What a fucking question. How? What a question. Do you believe you can do your job? Yeah. Do you also believe Elvis is alive? No. Well, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Do you also believe in
gets,
Bigfoot?
I promise it gets more weird.
No, sir.
Have you read this report?
Yes, sir.
You've been the chairman of the FDIC 10 of the last 13 years, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And you've been there for 20 years almost, haven't you?
Nearly, yes, sir.
And this sleaze has been going on for decades, has it not?
I think the report makes that finding, Senator.
Did you read the part of the report where
I just ironically for John Kennedy to say you've been at a place for a long time and therefore you should not be in that job. Nobody has a lower approval rating than Congress, and John Kennedy's been there for fucking ever. So if we're gonna play that game, literally every person in Congress should just kindly shut the fuck up if we're playing this game. You don't get to play the game of, hey, you guys have been doing a shitty job for a while. You shouldn't be in that job anymore, right? Congress doesn't get to play that game.
Where one of your supervisors described one of your young female employees as being, quote, like a grizzly bear with tits, close quote?
I've read the report, Senator.
Did you read the part of the report where one of your supervisors asked a young female employee, quote, does your husband eat you? Did you read that?
I have read the report, Senator.
This is locker room talk, right? Isn't this locker room talk? I remember John Kennedy saying locker room talk. Is this not locker room talk anymore, John Kennedy?
Did you read the report?
Also, these are pretty mild compared to the comments I get, so.
The report where one young employee said her supervisor sent her a text. You know what the text said? Quote, get naked, bitch. Did you read that?
Yes, sir.
Listen, this is going to be a pattern. I'm laughing because I think, all right, when I was Mormon, there were bishops who were often accused of being, who weren't not just accused, but who were absolutely scumbags. And they would ask people questions like this, very detailed questions, because like they secretly loved it. And we're going to see a pattern here with John Kennedy. John Kennedy loves talking about sexual stuff. Anything sexual, that's where he's going to laser in.
Did you read the part of the report where one of your supervisors?
I want to be clear. Sorry, I was not saying this is locker room talk. I'm not condoning this. I'm saying that when it happened and it was Trump, they all said this is locker room talk. Just so we're clear there. I'm not defending the actions. I'm just really fucking confused by John Kennedy because when a Republican says crazy shit, he calls it locker room talk. But when a Democrat, or in this case, I don't even know the political leanings of these people could be Republicans that are saying these things. When it comes down to him being able to use it as a political tool, he loves it. But when it's his guy, it's locker room talk.
Turn to one of your Hispanic employees and ask him to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to prove that he is an American. Did you read that?
I read it, sir.
And did he get upset when Donald Trump said that the judge ruled against him because he was Mexican? No. Certainly he wasn't outraged by that.
You're not going to be able to clean up the FDIC because you're going to be too busy defending yourself in court.
Similar to how Donald Trump was in court his entire presidency and post-presidency and probably will. Well, not, I guess not in court, impeachment hearings. Yeah, it's similar.
I'm going to introduce a bill
Oh, I bet.
to extend the statute of limitations to allow every employee at the FDIC.
But can we even they're so mad that New York extended the statute of limitations to allow E. Jean Carroll's case to go through and to allow Donald Trump's fraud cases to go through. It's a weaponized DOJ. And then they're like, I'm gonna do this. It's the right thing to do in both scenarios. He should introduce that bill. That bill should be introduced. It should be voted on for agreement. But good Lord, the hypocrisy in all of this is astounding. The very thing they claim is why the DOJ was weaponized against Donald Trump is exactly what they're about to do right now.
To file suit over this sexual abuse and this sexual discrimination and this racism. And you're going to be spending all your time in court. Now, the Cleary Gottlieb report doesn't think you're the person to clean up the FDIC, does it?
I don't know that the report reaches that conclusion, but it certainly has critical comments in regard to me.
All right, that's mostly what I wanted to show you there. But there's more Kennedy. Don't worry. It just gets more weird. And this is, I think this might be my favorite moment of the year. I'm not even going to give you a setup. I'm just going to let this happen to you.
Two books that have been much discussed. The first one is called...
I'm just going to go out and say this. There is a real chance my live gets taken down for playing this. And if it does, I'll go on my backup. There's a real chance it happens.
All Boys Aren't Blue. And I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees. And I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain. Close quote.
Close quote. That wasn't my quote. It was someone else.
Is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're.
This is Congress. I just want a reminder. This is the Senate, not Congress. Sorry, this is the United States Senate. This is being read on the Senate floor.
Familiar with it? It's called Genderqueer. Okay. Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote. Now,
that happened. Bro, that's on C-SPAN. Your kids can watch that. Like, your kids can watch C-SPAN. I mean, they won't because it's C-SPAN. But your kids can watch that. Which is... Oh, that might have been from earlier. Let me read some comments. There's no way the comments are worse than this. Soli says, what's the difference between a chickpea and a lentil? I wouldn't pay $50 to have a lentil on my face. All right. That's all right. Ironically, that's how much you sent me. What do ticks and the Eiffel Tower have in common? from Ashley. They are both parasites. I like that one. Bree says, like they said, a date can mean anything, boo. Not a relationship. FWB is a thing. Also, happy fucking birthday to Bev. Is it Bev's birthday today?
It is Bev's birthday.
Happy birthday, Bev. Let me keep going. Let me read these real quick. Are you just up here to watch my face go red?
No,
Okay.
are you? Listen, if you wanted the day off, you didn't have to play this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bev, I think Bev is the one that found this video. I'm pretty sure this is Bev's doing.
I mean, you don't have to have the live taken down. I mean, it's.
Dennis sent a message that said to never hear John Kennedy again. You didn't like that video, Jen?
That was No, that Jesus Christ was from that was. Jesus Christ.
Oh I think my time is wrong on the Discord because it says that was at 11:52, but I think my Discord time might be set to Pacific.
Probably.
All right. Want one more John Kennedy?
No.
No, this one won't. This one is.
I'd rather deep throat a cactus.
Great news! You're getting some John Kennedy. This one's equally as stupid, but it's not going to turn your face red. I don't know if you've seen this.
Violent crime.
This is. Oh Jesus! Was that loud as hell? This was an actual ad that he played in Louisiana. This is a campaign ad.
Violent crime is surging in Louisiana. Woke leaders blame the police. I blame the criminals. A mom should not have to look over her shoulder when she's pumping gas. I voted against the early release of violent criminals, and I opposed defunding the police. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
He's that uncle.
So
He's that
stupid.
uncle that just makes you uncomfortable. He's probably like when you're growing up there. You have to go, Uncle Kennedy's coming over. You got to go put some clothes on. He's that uncle.
Yeah, Uncle, you're gonna want to cover your shoulders up when Uncle John comes around and keep out of arm's reach. Yeah,
he's so gross. Anyways, so have you done the math?
Oh shit, I did it a few minutes ago, but then I didn't update it. I don't think on this one.
Jesus. It's so creepy. It's just gross. Is he like 104 years old?
How did somebody figure out how old he is? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old John Kennedy is. Does anybody know?
104.
104.
104. God, that's gross. Anyways, so while people is doing the math, we've got about an hour or so left of the show. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, in the bio. No, guys, you're all wrong. 104.
That's right.
So if you like to subscribe over here, we've got some fun emotes. If you guys want to drop some fun emotes that we have, we're going to be uploading a few more. We've got Gail with one of our TikTok mods. She's makes some fun. A lot of the fun emotes we have, Gail comes up with. So if you want to check those out, those are fun. If you could subscribe to us over on YouTube. If you want to send any moderator a message, you can message us and we can get you an invite. And what do you call a wizard who's good with ceramics?
Good with ceramics?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Harry Pottery.
Harry Potter. Well, no, do Potter because you're a
No,
Potter.
Harry Pottery.
I know, but you're a Potter.
It's not the joke, Jay. It's not the joke.
Well,
Harry Potter.
I fixed the joke. I made it better.
Yours is not good.
That's better. All right, I love you. See ya. All right. A lot of people asked, how does John Kennedy keep getting put into office? And I will tell you, it's because he lives in the same state where this commercial worked really
The
well.
Gremlin Street Gang is responsible for hundreds of violent crimes.
If anybody's wondering if this is Ghost Bus Higgins before he was in Congress, yes, this is Ghost Bus Higgins before he was in Congress. You may recognize, I ain't afraid of nobody.
Murders, armed robberies, witness intimidation, burglaries, drug trafficking, extortion, and brutal beatings. We've arrested 10 of these thugs and have warrants on 7 more. Every one of these animals is most definitely armed and dangerous. Darren Carter, Aaron Carter, Travis Cooper, Cody Guidry, Jaron Diggs, Kirkland Demochet, and Jonathan Landry. We have felony warrants for your arrest. You will be hunted, you will be tracked, and if you raise your weapon to a man like me, we'll return fire with superior fire. Darren Carter, you think men like these are afraid of an uneducated...
It's the dumbest shit. How come Republicans just want to be in a video game? Look at this staged photo. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. This is so goddamn dumb. You got people on the fucking roof in the back. It's like this is like the worst rap video I've ever seen. This is so stupid. This is the dumbest stage video. And I don't know who the guys are. So they even brought the dogs out. The dogs are like, hey, it's nice to be out in the grass. Can we throw a ball? No, you're going to sit here while Ghost Bus Higgins yells at people with warrants. That's how John Kennedy keeps getting winning re-election, because he lives in a state where this stuff works. It is the dumbest shit you'll ever see. Republicans just like their biggest fear is, I think, that somebody will think that they're weak. And so it's just just cosplaying. Like, tell me the difference between being a Republican and LARPing. Like, what's the difference? Like, if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? You're all just everything you're afraid of is make believe. You just make it up on the spot. And two, you're going to do about as much damage as somebody with a pool noodle. You just want to talk tough. You want to show everybody how tough you are. America's not that tough. Let's just be honest about America. We're not that tough. Life's too easy in America for anybody to really be that tough. And the ones that are tough, it's like, why did you get that way? Why are you this way? Why are you afraid of everything? But that's again Republicanism. You're fed fear, a steady diet of fear 24/7. And that's what you wind up being, is you just wind up being somebody who's looking over your shoulder all the time, constantly convinced that somebody's coming for you. And so you puff up your chest and you act tough and you try and make people believe that you are tough. And then maybe they won't beat you up. That's Republicanism 101. Wiener pills and bullets on auto ship. Who was that? Who just said that? That's my favorite thing I've seen all day. That's gold. That's gold. That's a W. That's definitely a W. All right, now we're gonna get to. I'm in a funny mood. We're gonna get to Bobo.
Affordable, clean
I will
energy
say I am 100% convinced I cannot fix Bobo. I thought there was a real chance I could fix her, but unfortunately, people have told her. Too many people now at this point have told her that she's smart, and she believes it, and so that sucks. So I'm going to show you some clips from Lauren Boebert. This one is her obsessing over gray wolves. You may remember this, but Lauren Boebert keeps trying to introduce legislation over and over to protect or to eliminate gray wolves.
Regulating it out of existence and killing these good-paying jobs in my district, yes, I have a problem with that. In my home state of Colorado, out-of-touch Denver and Boulder leftists voted to reintroduce gray wolves. Since then, 10 wolves were reintroduced in December, and 8 have confirmed wolf livestock depredations and 6 separate incidents involving wolf attacks in Colorado just this month. My Trust the Science Act delists the gray wolf from the federal endangered species.
It's called the Trust the Science Act. is what we're doing. It just, I don't know if this is science. This might be vision and math, and you'll find out why. But it's called the Trust the Science Act. You heard it right.
Lists and returns the issue of the wolf management to states and tribal wildlife agencies.
Once again, Republican leadership has taken an opportunity to vilify an endangered species today here on this floor, to sacrifice it to their precious industry groups. Guns, oil, and polluters. That has come to be what the GOP stands for, at least in this Congress. Last summer, they rushed to the House floor with bills to increase the extinction risk of the lesser prairie chicken and the northern long-eared bat. Today, it is the iconic gray wolf. Do my Republican friends truly have nothing better to do with their time, with the time of this body? We should be working on issues that make a difference to everyday life in America. But this Congress has been mostly about Republicans fighting with each other in a circular firing squad, and the only time they seem to take a break from that is when they want to do something to enrich the wealthiest Americans, harm the environment, or now to kill wolves.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise to offer my amendment that utilizes the Holman Rule to reduce the...
Sorry. Good job. Good job. Let me just show you. We're gonna get the actual data on this. Here's the actual data on wolves in Colorado.
Killed. Farmers and ranchers are powerless to defend their livestock from wolf attacks, and there have been 8 confirmed wolf livestock killings in April alone this year.
8 livestock killings in April across the United States. And what about in Colorado? Democratic Congressman Don Beyer.
In Colorado, where wolves were recently reintroduced, so far they've killed 1 calf.
And what?
1 calf. She is introducing legislation to protect 1 calf. Just 1 calf died. 1 calf died in Colorado, and that was enough for somebody in Colorado to get Lauren Boebert's ear so she would introduce legislation to protect his herd so they could go hunt wolves. 1 calf. It's calf. I don't know why they said cat there. I think it's calf. I'm pretty sure it's calf. I can play it again. I think it's calf. I'll play it again.
Targeted and killed.
Farmers and ranchers are powerless to defend their livestock from wolf attacks, and there have been 8 confirmed wolf livestock killings in April alone this year.
8 livestock killings in April across the United States. And what about in Colorado? Democratic Congressman Don Beyer.
In Colorado, where wolves were recently reintroduced, so far they've killed 1 calf.
Yeah, it's calf. They're saying cat. Whoever made this video is wrong. It's calf. He definitely said calf. You're talking about I don't think a cat qualifies as livestock. I don't know. We had cows. We didn't ever call our cat livestock, but the cat is funny. It would be killing cat. And speaking of abusing cats,
that was about the softest reference that he could have made. But do you want to talk about the
biggest moment was this
theater thing?
Sure. So, Kyle, I certainly have owned up to my night out in Denver, and I've gone on that public apology tour, and I'm grateful for the mercy and grace that has been shown. But I'm not going to continue to live life in shame and be beat up by this. And I would like to go back to my legislative record for just a second.
We're not going to do that. You had plenty of time to answer the question. You chose not to. That's fine. I just want to make sure.
I'll have more time.
And you have apologized for the theater incident.
I certainly have.
And I just want to make sure. Did you apologize for the behavior that went on with you and your date, or the vaping,
Kyle,
or did you apologize, or pardon me, or did you apologize for lying to voters about what you did that night and the disrespect that you showed to service workers that night? What specifically were you apologizing for?
I don't believe there was disrespect. There were things that were absolutely taken out of context.
There's video.
When she was walking out of the theater, giving the bird to them and saying, fuck you, that was out of context. She was saying she was going to fuck them. I think that's her answer. I think that's what she was saying. Like, as soon as I'm done with my date, you're next. I think maybe that's what she was saying. That's probably how it was out of context.
Of your interactions with service workers, I'm asking.
Right.
Are you apologizing for the lying to voters?
It's been reported that I flipped someone off, and I did not. So, I mean, I think it's been very mischaracterized.
Except for she just said she didn't. Don't Can we find the? I'm gonna pull it up. She definitely flipped somebody off, right? Why is she saying she didn't flip somebody off? Boebert flips off the worker. All right, let's see. Here's the surveillance video.
Ushers at
Let's see. Did she flip anybody off?
Denver's Buell Theater had to escort Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert out of a performance of Beetlejuice this weekend after getting complaints about vaping, taking pictures, and causing a disturbance. We just got a hold of the video from inside the theater Sunday night. An incident report detailed it, and city sources...
No, that's not... that's not flipping off. That's jacking off is what she's doing to her date. Sorry.
To 9 News that Boebert and the person she was with were the subject of complaints. Audience members said the two were vaping and singing, and when asked to leave, got argumentative. Boebert appeared to take a selfie as she was escorted out. Boebert's congressional office did not...
She's a mess. I've dated some Lauren Boeberts in my day where it's like a point of pride. They're getting thrown out of somewhere and they're like, fuck it, I'm taking pictures.
Replied in multiple emails about what happened, though the Congresswoman alluded to what happened on Twitter, saying she pled guilty to laughing and singing too loud.
Where's the rest of the video? Damn, I thought that was going to be the rest of the video. Where is the video?
As we wait for President Biden to take the stage, we are going to head to some of the...
It's when she's in the lobby, right?
During intermission that it received 3 complaints from attendees there.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the second act, security reportedly received another complaint about the patrons, quote, being loud. And at the time, they were recording, which is prohibited at those shows.
All right, well, I guess it's iffy. I think it's this right here. We'll freeze frame it.
The two were reportedly given warnings during
that dress is doing a lot of work.
Mission that it received 3 complaints from
All right, well, like I know you. I don't know if you guys can see that. Her index finger is down. So unless that's her ring finger that for some reason she is showing, maybe she's showing, I'm still technically married. Maybe that's what she's saying. Maybe she's saying I'm still technically married because she was still technically married when this happened. Maybe that's what she's doing. I like her guest just cheersing. He's like, I didn't want to go to this concert anyways. I only brought her here so I could get what I wanted. Yeah, she's absolutely flipping somebody off. All right, let's go back to her. All right, so she's not going to apologize for lying to her constituents. She's obviously going to lie right here. Let's go back to it.
I'm apologizing for you, Kyle Clark.
And just going back here.
I think it's...
There's video of your interactions with service workers. I'm asking,
right,
are you apologizing for the lying to voters
that I flipped someone off and I did not. So I'm...
Oh, but you did. You definitely flipped somebody. You definitely flipped somebody off. Are you saying you flipped off the wall? That finger was out. I know what that finger means. I've been giving that finger a time or two.
I think it's been very mischaracterized. I'm apologizing for you, Kyle Clark, getting footage and releasing that.
She's apologizing for him. How gracious. I'm apologizing for you, Kyle Clark.
And people seeing this in a very private moment.
Certainly. It was very important to figure out whether you were telling the truth
you just had
or
an
whether a
interview
public
recently with
agency was
CityCast
lying about your conduct.
You
Either
just had
way was
an
very
interview with
important
CityCast Denver, and you were saying how disgusting it is to record someone without their knowledge.
Let's talk about the use of earmarks in Congress.
You did that very same thing and released it.
I just want to talk about one more thing because I don't know about this. Tell me about those eyebrows. Tell me about the eyebrows. Is that a Sharpie? See, eyebrows have like space between them, right? What's going on with those eyebrows? Can somebody tell me what's going on there? A private moment in a very public space. Yeah, excited brows. Yeah, there's no skin seen through those eyebrows. Sharpie for sure. I also have all my private moments in public. Yeah, that's the key. I don't think that's a new look, Malta. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that was a look like 4 years ago. And Bobo seems like the kind of person who stopped wearing like bedazzled jeans like 3 years ago. She seems like the kind. I know. Look, I'm not a fashionista. I dress like shit. She just seems like the kind of person who was still doing the what were those jeans called? Where they had like the yarn. True Religion. She had so much True Religion, but she was like heavily in debt for her True Religion jeans. I live in Colorado to test that woman. Eyebrow brightness. You would, Jay, knock it off. I would. Oh, I would with not anymore. I got to tell you, man. The older I've got, me in my younger days, 100%. Like this was my type. Bobo was my type in my younger days. When my Republican days, that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody confident, not terribly intelligent, daddy issues. Like that was the checklist for me. Confident, not super intelligent, daddy issues. Somebody who was going to use me as a way to get back as their dad. That was my type as a Republican. And I think that's most Republican men's type. Because then you don't have to worry about your wife being smarter than you and your friends making fun of you for your wife being smarter than you. It turns out your wives are all smarter than you. They just don't tell you that. They make you build you up and make you feel like you're good. But yeah, that was the type. So yeah, Bobo was my type, 100%. But I also wouldn't have dated her very long. I didn't date anybody very long. That gets old really fast. All right. There's Bobo protecting the trees now. Was this that same video? I think this is Bobo protecting the trees.
Body. We should be working on issues that make a difference to everyday life in America.
Did I get the timestamp right?
But this Congress has been mostly about Republicans fighting.
Wait, is this right? 4340. Oh, the timestamp's just wrong. Sorry. I got to get the right timestamp. That's my bad.
Pretty well under this bill being protected. Cutting every single program at the EPA and seeking to increase funding for only one office, which happens to be the Oversight Office, is clearly an attempt by the majority to politicize the Inspector General.
Sorry, there we go.
Montana, Representative Zinke, which will improve the effectiveness of the Good Neighbor Authority. The Good Neighbor Authority program enables cross-boundary forest management activities with states, tribes, and counties. Collaborative tools like this program are critical to confronting the wildfire crisis, as raging wildfires don't respect man-made borders that separate forests into different jurisdictions. Since 2014,
You always know when Boebert is saying her words or the words that are written. Like if they make sense, they were written for her.
490.
That's her staffer. That I swear to God, I'm pretty sure this is what happened. So Bobo used to go to the floor on her own. This woman is by her side all the time now. And I'm fairly certain of two things. One, she's one of the people that's writing what Bobo's reading. And two, that she is meant to be there as a prop, smiling and nodding in agreement. I'm almost entirely certain that they have staged people to be with Boebert, and they're like, hey, make sure when she says stuff, you're nodding in agreement. You'll notice that here. It's Jamie Lynn Spears.
Good Neighbor Authority projects have been started in 34 states, and more than 273 million board feet of timber is sold yearly through this program. Currently, funds from the sale of timber from Good Neighbor projects can be used to treat insect and disease-infested trees, reduce hazardous fuels, improve forest health, and restore and repair decommissioned Forest Service roads necessary to implement restoration activities. This amendment would expand the permissible users of timber receipts derived from Good Neighbor Authority projects to include the reconstruction, repair, and restoration of roads on non-Forest Service land when such activities are needed to implement forest management projects on federal land. New road construction on federal lands.
Sorry, that's the whole thing. It's just her reading trees, and I wanted to point out this this prop that she brings with her. Yeah, she's not into it. She's when she's into it. When she's into it, she'll start grabbing someone's crotch. And that's when you know that she's definitely into it. And then this was the last one. Let's go to minute 9. Looks like. Here we go.
Favor of my amendment, which would prohibit federal funding for the countering group extremist activity working or implement any recommendations from the group. In 2021, Democrats and the Biden regime unjustly used January 6th to prop up this woke working group to provide cover for unjustly targeting members.
Woke just means you can read for her.
of our military.
She's being a little
Under
woke.
the Biden regime, DEI instruction and management has reached.
Yeah, good point. Good point calling out regime. Yeah, I like that that's our foreign folks. Yeah, this is what Republicans do in congressional hearings now. They say regime. And it is all propaganda all the time. We call it a regime when we don't like it. When it's Trump, it's his administration. When it's Biden, it's regime.
New heights that threaten to weaken the bond between America's armed forces and its civilian leadership and undermine our military effectiveness and readiness. All of our men and women in uniform deserve.
Well, if woke means you graduated high school, then she's not woke because I'm pretty sure she's a GEDer.
Deserve to have the best tools needed to carry out their mission to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Unfortunately, liberal ideology undermines this
undermines.
mission. In order to stand up to China, Russia, terrorists, our military needs to project strength, not cultural wokeness.
Mr. Chair, to be clear,
does
January
great.
6th was an attack on America, our democracy, and this institution which we have all taken an oath to serve. This shouldn't be controversial, but service members who swear an oath to the Constitution should not try to overthrow the United States government. My colleagues allege that the department's efforts to counter extremist activities unfairly targets conservatives. There's nothing in the countering extremist
employees who are white, male, or lack other favored characteristics.
I want to start off by saying that I find that bigotry, transphobia,
and outright attacks on our LGBTQ plus community. These attacks that we've heard in this hearing today are disgusting and unacceptable. Ms. Wiley, we've heard a lot of bigotry in this room today. Highly uncomfortable to sit here as one of these witnesses used their testimony time to, I guess, complain about the fact that maybe too many black and brown people are getting jobs, is what that sounded like.
It's amazing to me that just in a few years' time, it's now considered misinformation to talk about the Nazis in Ukraine. This is an extremely concerning situation. I don't think
I'm so sorry for the gift goal in front of her face.
anyone in the
Oh, it
United
just went
States
away.
government,
All right.
Americans, do not
That was
support
weird.
actual Nazis or white supremacists. I know I certainly do not. And I can't understand.
Remember today when all the Republicans, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk and Michael Knowles and Benny Johnson were all openly supporting a schmotzy and a white supremacist? And remember that one time that Marjorie Taylor Greene went and she spoke at a Nick Fuentes rally? Do you remember that? And Nick Fuentes introduced her and said she was like one of their best representatives, and she gave him a one-arm hug. Do you remember that? But yeah, they don't.
And why in just a short amount of time, this information that our own American media frequently talked about is no longer talked about.
Before I get into it, it's interesting to hear my colleague just now talk about disavowing white supremacists when in 2022, she spoke at an event led by white supremacists and white nationalists.
I jumped
Nick
the gun.
Fuentes,
Sorry.
And when asked about it, doubled down on it and said, we're going to focus on people, not labels. So get out of here with that damn hypocrisy. And Dr. Snyder, I'm going to give you some time to respond.
First of all, I'd like to thank the representative from Georgia by making clear with her comments and with her person that any discussion of political warfare has to include Russia, Ukraine, and America. She's just demonstrated that point, I think, very powerfully.
The fact of the matter is that Chairman Comer has a history of selective treatment of the facts presented to him that would really make any witness concerned about any kind of closed-door procedure or deposition. My amendment outlines how the chairman has misrepresented the mountain of bank records that show no wrongdoing, the fact that Chairman Comer has only released two of the 17 witness transcripts so far. We want him to release the transcripts. And we also know that the chairman has interviewed some of Hunter Biden's associates. And it seems that to the rest of America and no dirt could be found, and because of that, they wanted to bury the truth. But the truth is out because the truth is that this has been a complete waste of time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I love, like, James Comer has to go down as the most inept impeachment manager ever to exist. Also, I apologize. I have made that gift goal disappear. I have no idea how to get that image back. I don't know how it got on that other screen in the first place, and then it went away. And now I have literally no idea how to get that back. So I just want to say the current gift goal is at 149. That's where we're at right now. Maxwell Frost now to, oh yeah, this goes right into it. Perfect. This is time. This is just receipt after receipt after receipt here on how Republicans use Congress as a way to just run interference for Donald Trump. It is interesting that Republicans chose in Congress this last term, they chose to use all of their time campaigning for Donald Trump. That's all they did. I don't know why Republicans think that Donald Trump is some sort of savior for them. I don't get it. And I don't know why they wasted all their time trying to get him in office. Do they just want to be told what to do? Post it on my hat. Good idea.
This is the House Rules Manual, and at the start of Congress, the House approves the House rules. Every Republican member on this committee voted yes to it. On page 640, Rule 11, Clause 4B, it states that this committee, quote, may not be used for any partisan political campaign purpose, end quote. This hearing is in violation of the House rules that we all voted on, including the chair, including all the Republicans on the other side of the aisle. And all we've done in this hearing and over these hearings over this entire year is promote the Trump campaign. And so my question for the chairman or for any Republican is, how can we allow this hearing to continue when we are in direct violation of the House rules?
It's about the Biden-Harris policy.
That's what you
can
say. You
defend
keep
them.
saying it's not about the campaign. It's not about the campaign. But Ms. Gunasekara, during her brief, in their opening, said, quote, "We are less than 2 months away from the election. Democrats are working overtime to rewrite the truth of the Biden-Harris admin." One of my colleagues put up a report card to make the point that Vice President Harris should not be elected. Another one of my colleagues literally asked the witness, quote, "Why should Harris get the job?" End quote. And you expect us to believe that this hearing isn't about the campaign. This committee functions as an extension of the Trump campaign. First, we went after President Biden with a nonsense impeachment hearing. Then we went after his son.
Remember, for all the talk about how Democrats were able to impeach Donald Trump, even the Republicans could not get enough votes from their own people to impeach Joe Biden. And they spent the entire 4 years trying to do it, and they couldn't even get enough votes from their own people. And they didn't even call a vote. That tells me it wasn't even close.
Now we're going after the vice president because she's the nominee. And my question is, Mr. Chairman, are we going after Tim Walz next week? Because I hear from my staff that you're planning a hearing on Governor Tim Walz, even though he's been governor for 5 years and his name hasn't been uttered in this room or in this committee until something happened recently. Oh, yes, he became the vice presidential nominee. Is he next?
His son's going to jail.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about Governor Tim Walz.
Oh, okay.
Are we doing a hearing on him next week?
I'll have to check the
You'll
calendar,
have to check.
but I'll
Okay,
let you
well,
know.
Yeah, we'll have to check. I like that. Why are we talking about Joe Biden? His son's going to jail. Okay, so why are we talking about that? This is Congress. This isn't a courthouse. That is not the role of Congress, and we've completely lost the roles of the different branches of government. Republicans have no idea how to govern, how to legislate. It's just baby bird, mouth open, Daddy Trump, tell us what to do. We go on to this moment of Maxwell Frost talking about climate change and the Republicans' unwillingness to even take it remotely seriously ever.
Obsession with LNG and fossil fuels. I commend the Biden administration on this decisive and very important step to fighting the climate crisis. Republicans have been making the same argument since the 90s, even as the realities of the argument has been changing. Green energy like wind, solar, hydro, they're no longer the future, they're the present. And they're now cost competitive with fossil fuels and continue to even become cheaper. Not to mention that they don't leave a lasting damage and impact to our planet that we will have to clean up later. LNG is dangerous, it's dirty, it leaves lasting environmental and health damage to the communities where it's produced. And I want to be even clearer, according to the Department of Energy,
I believe LNG is liquid natural gas, right? Is that what
the more
LNG is?
LNG that we export, the more expensive prices will be at the pump for gas, and our electricity bills will be even higher. Additionally, LNG, which is 90% methane, heats the atmosphere at 80 times the rate of carbon dioxide. And for my fellow Floridians, we are having hotter and hotter summers and record heats, this means even hotter summers, even deadlier summers, and faster sea levels rising. LNG is a loser for our pockets, it's a loser for humanity, it's a loser for our communities, and it is killing us. And to hear my colleagues say that, oh, the president's pandering to the climate movement, two things. Number one, I can only hope and pray and fight to make sure that we build off of this victory to get to a clean future, green, clean future. And the climate activists, advocates, and organizers are heroes for fighting to protect all of us, even your constituents. And so, look, Republicans have been fighting on behalf of their friends in big oil for longer than I've been alive. And I'm just asking you, for the sake of humanity, for God's sake, please find better friends. Thank you. Mr. Parn.
That's such a good finish. Haley says, Jasmine and I love watching you. I wish. Bree says, list, elaborate, please. What was my list? don't remember what my list was. I don't remember what you're talking about there, Bree. Send Jen a message on Discord, and I'll answer that question. I just don't remember what you're saying. Bree also says, now I'm following up. Where am I on your list? Be honest. There's no, that list? There's no list. I don't have a list. It was a list of favorite people. Oh, it was a list of favorite people in Congress, wasn't it? That was my list of favorite people in Congress. When you get to Congress, you'll be right up there. Ashley says, it seems like the Republican Party will use any excuse to get out of everything except for office. Yeah. They'd never leave an office. All right. Let's go. We'll do this to the last one, and then let me update the goal. Let's play the Bree song.
He's trying to fuck RTP. She'll make him better than a cherry. Bree's trying to fuck RTP. Bree's trying to fuck RTP.
Beautiful. All right, the goal is 147. We can probably knock that out in 25 minutes. All right, and then here, clearly outlining the hypocrisy from Republicans. And I apologize if anybody doesn't like this nerdiness, but I love this. And tomorrow we'll be back to normal stuff. So sorry if you don't. Oh, that's actually just going in order. It's going to go right there.
Arnis himself has made it clear that we should have no doubt that the claims of corruption are lies and conspiracy theories rooted in a Russian effort to undermine our democracy, posted to a Russian language website over a decade ago. This is exactly what Putin wants. And over the years, Republicans have kept moving the goalpost. You just look at the past year, right? First, it was a bribe. Then it was Burisma, nothing. Then it was Hunter Biden's laptop, nothing but some nude pics that we keep seeing here. Then it was supposed
Thanks,
money
Marge.
laundering scheme that turned out to be a family member making a couple of car payments. And now Republicans on this committee have left the pretense of a crime behind and are moving the goalpost to influence peddling, which sounds more like what former President Donald Trump did in his time in office. Collectively, American undocumented immigrants paid.
It's exactly what he did. It is baffling to me that Republicans ran this whole hearing about influence peddling. Donald Trump was broke before he became president. It's just true. He was fucked. Oh wow, someone's fire alarm's going off. That's weird. He was in trouble, and now he's rich again. Donald Trump has been selling his influence since the day he announced his presidency. You can see he literally let somebody buy a vice president. He's like, yeah, just give me some money. You can pick the vice president. That's fine. You want Project 2025? Load me up, baby. Give me that cash. Billionaires, you want a tax break? Give me $1 billion. And again, it's not as simple as Donald Trump gets money from a donor and it goes into his pocket. It's not that simple. And I think that's why he's been able to get away with it from Republicans, because Republicans always just want a little bit of gray area where they don't have to acknowledge the reality that's happening in front of them. And so the fact that people aren't just walking up to Donald Trump and sticking cash in his pockets is enough for them to say it must not be happening. But we know what happens. Donald Trump gets donations from these people to his PAC, and he uses that PAC to pay his bills. And then those people come and they host events at Mar-a-Lago, and they pay Donald Trump a shit ton of money to do it. Or they host an event at Bedminster in New Jersey. And Donald Trump is able to funnel money in through that way. He pays zero expenses. He can use that super PAC money to pay for literally anything, for his travel, for his legal fees, for clothes, for rent, for even things like donating to other groups, which he's done multiple times. He can use that as a slush fund, and then he can also take the people who are donating to him and say, "Yeah, you really want a favor? Come spend $300,000 at my property." His properties were going under. He was in massive trouble until he became president. Nobody has used the office to enrich themselves more than Republicans, and this is the game. This is why it's so fucking frustrating for so many of us, because literally everything they say that we are doing is what they are doing at that exact time. If a Republican is a Republican in Congress, if they are accusing Democrats of something, I just Google whatever they accused him of and type in Republican, and you'll find out that is the very thing that they are doing at that time. It's always a way to just be able to be like, whataboutism? Or, when you bring up the fact that Trump is corrupt and he lies, what's the response every time? Everybody's corrupt. Everybody lies. No, not like that. Not like that. And by the way, if you if you won't hold anybody accountable when you know they did something, that's why everybody's corrupt. That's why everybody lies, because you won't ever hold their feet to the fire. And I'll just say again, Democrats did that. I don't think Democrats historically have been great about that, but we are now. There's clearly a side with principles, and there's clearly a side who will abandon all principles for Donald Trump. Now we're on to undocumented immigrants. Let me check messages one more time. Got it. On undocumented immigrants here from Maxwell Frost. I think it actually just goes right into it.
An estimated $11.64 billion.
God damn it.
$billion in state and local taxes every single year. And the average undocumented immigrant has been living and contributing to the economic success of our country for between 10 and 14 years. These are folks who are literally putting more
Bree, 147 left in the goal.
Into our system than they're taking out because they're undocumented. These are our friends, our family, teachers, substitute teachers, people who work in the medical field, people who work in hospitality, our neighbors, my family. Mr. Beer, how might white supremacist falsehoods about an invasion put immigrant communities in danger?
Look, we talked about this before. We've seen the El Paso shooter manifesto, the Buffalo shooter. You go to Charlottesville, you saw what happened there. The Pittsburgh synagogue shooter. I mean, the number of crimes where now dozens of people have been murdered, it's astounding. They are saying what's motivating them. It's this idea that these people are invaders and therefore they can be responded to with military-style force.
Yeah, and it just makes me wonder because we keep hearing from colleagues on the other side, some of these witnesses, that I guess the rate doesn't matter or the data doesn't matter.
Holy shit, the goal just showed back up? Sorry. You guys, I'm not losing it, right? That goal was gone, right? I'm not losing my mind? That definitely wasn't there like 3 minutes ago, right? 10 minutes ago when I said it. No, you guys are, but it's been back just for like, okay, it was gone. That's fucking me up. All right, thank you. I didn't even notice it. I don't know how that got back. I feel like somebody's messing with me, to be honest. I don't know how it was over on the other screen and now it's here. Yeah.
And what really matters are
it was muted.
the families and the victims, which I 100% agree with, but then they completely disregard the families and victims of immigrant communities because of the hateful rhetoric that they are pushing. Thank you so much, Dr. Snyder.
I think that's such a good point. Like, again, anytime something happens and it's an immigrant who commits a crime, or even if it's not an immigrant who commits a crime, like the New Orleans, I guess what do we call it, T attack, at those points, they'll talk about it. But if it is somebody perpetuating harm on an immigrant, crickets. You will never hear about that from Republicans. And you will never hear them say the stuff that we all know, that we are far less safe with them than we are with immigrants. Like, just statistically speaking, if you want to be safe, surround yourself with immigrants, and you'll be statistically more safe than you are just in your everyday life. Unless a bunch of Republicans come into your town, and then you're in trouble. Then you're maybe not safe. All right, where are we at? 16. Okay, now here on transgender rights and pregnancy protections, which is great to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many more of these we need.
Information.
I don't know when I don't know if there's an end when Republicans are just going to be like, all right, we were full of shit. I was watching like an old clip from, it was probably, I think it was 20 years ago. It was Sam Cedar. He was on Fox News, and it was like the war on Christmas thing. And it was baffling to hear the same type of rhetoric coming out of Republicans 20 years ago, that it was a war on Christianity, that if Republicans were able to take office again, Democrats took office again, this is 20 years ago, that Christmas would be ended. And obviously it wasn't. There never was a war on Christmas. It never happened. Just like all the things Republicans think are really hurting them, almost all of them legitimately aren't happening. And specifically, women's rights being taken from trans people. Specifically, that is not happening. In fact, the fact that trans people exist has caused them to lose rights, and women have lost rights at the hands of Republicans. But nobody has lost their rights at the hands of trans people. Not one person has lost their rights.
To discredit Ukraine.
Unless you mean the right to finish solo fifth.
And help Russia. And I yield back. Thank you. Once again, Republicans.
Let me read a couple comments there. Sorry, I cut that right at the end. Tanya says, thank you, Tanya, with the party emoji. Appreciate that. I think I read Ashley's. Barry says, no message there. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it, my friend. Natalie says, what do you call a dog who meditates? That's good. A werewolf. I like that. I like that one a lot. Andre says, Jay, I'll be in Scottsdale February for the Waste Management Open. Bring your clubs, Andre. We'll play some golf. I would say I was going to go. Be ready for a shit show, dude. They're going to have more people than last year, and last year was a shit show. But make sure your phone has plenty of space, because you're going to want to take some videos of the shit show of the Waste Management. Enjoy yourself, though. Scottsdale's beautiful in February. There's not a better time to be in Scottsdale. Maybe the week after is a better time. But if you bring your clubs, let me know. We can go play some golf. And Kelsey says, hey, is your last name? Okay, never mind. Happy New Year. Appreciate all your hard work and content. Kelsey, I thought the last part of your last name was hater. And I was like, damn, that's an aggressive name. All right, well, now we're going to go to patriotism. I like that. Here's Maxwell Frost on patriotism. Jen, I'll update the goal. I know you're thinking it.
I don't have much time left to get to my other questions, but I just wanted to let you keep talking, because I agree with everything that you just said. And it's just a shame to sit in these hearings watching my colleagues attack programs that also are designed to help veterans. So to attack these programs is to attack what I consider true patriotism, which is more than a bald eagle, beer, and flag. It's about loving the people who live in the country, no matter who they are. Thank you. I yield back.
It is not. Mr. Big. It is not. Patriotism is only bald eagle, beer, and flag, but not Bud Light. Bud Light doesn't count as beer anymore. I liked that one a lot, actually. I hadn't seen this. I hadn't seen these ones. I'm just trusting the research team. I hadn't made it all the way through these. This is Maxwell Frost going after our favorite, James Comer. I'm going to play some Jared Moskowitz tomorrow, and then we'll probably finish up with this, just back to the news. But Jared Moskowitz is the king. Let's see if Maxwell Frost can
I yield back.
Hold up to Jared Moskowitz.
5 minutes to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm offering an amendment to this misguided resolution that would essentially work to take out the lies and the smoke and mirrors and insert the truth of the matter before us. My amendment outlines how last month Chairman Comer tried to push this fake impeachment by selectively talking about a truck that President Biden initially made payments on while he was still a private citizen that his son, Hunter Biden, later paid him back for. The month before, Chairman Comer selectively released just a 1-page of a 4-page email chain to falsely claim that regulators were concerned that Hunter Biden was money laundering when that wasn't true. What the chairman selectively forgot to share is that the other 3 pages of the email directly contradicted his claims. Regulators explicitly stated that the transactions were reasonably and consistent with the business profile, and that's a quote, and that the entity was transparent. And it doesn't stop there. Republican claims all throughout this case barely hold up to the slightest bit of scrutiny. And
the thing I like about all this stuff now is Republicans aren't going to talk about it, but I think this is important to watch, just to remember that Republicans lied over and over and over again, and then they just abandoned it. It was never about justice. It was never about finding a crime. It was never real. It was all just a way to smear Joe Biden so that Donald Trump could win election. That was the whole plan. If it wasn't the plan, they wouldn't have abandoned it. When's the last time you heard them talking about it? They're done with it. The election's over, and you won't hear a fucking peep from these. Jim Jordan, James Comer, why aren't you guys talking about this anymore? To me and to Republicans, when we used to debate about this, they would say the same thing. Oh, well, when Trump's back in office, you'll see. Will we? Because they're not talking about it now. I'm gonna make a prediction. Just like Hillary Clinton, they're not going to do a goddamn thing because there's nothing there. The only reason they do this with Hillary Clinton and with Joe Biden is because their guy's an actual criminal. Their guy actually breaks the law. And the only way for them to justify it to themselves is to show that everybody else did it too. And they have desperately tried. And you are left to conclude one of two things. One, they're dumb and they suck at their job. Or two, they're lying. Or three, both, because I think it's both. But they absolutely were lying. They absolutely were lying about crimes committed by Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. There aren't any. But they had to do it. They had no choice but to do it because their guy is such an overwhelming piece of shit that they have to justify their support with him by lying about other people. Everybody else has to be just as bad as him, so then they can be like, oh, well, what was it? The pick your poison, or what did everybody say? The lesser of two evils is what everybody was saying before the election. If you have to consistently say the lesser of two evils to justify voting for your candidate, maybe he's evil. You know who I never heard say that? I honest to God, have never heard a Democrat say the lesser of two evils was Kamala Harris. Because it's not close. It's not like you have two shitty options. This wasn't Joe Biden versus Mitt Romney. And you're like, well, they're pretty much the same, so I'm going to take the one who's going to do the least damage. This was like evil incarnate and Kamala Harris. There was no comparison there. That's why we don't make that same argument when we have to justify our vote. We don't have to justify our votes. There's nothing we really have to defend or overlook.
And it's not just me saying that. We've heard it on Fox News. We've heard it from the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, CNN, and others who have been investigating the chairman's false claims of evidence against President Biden. And once again, it's been said time and time again. Hunter Biden took us up on the offer of sitting in that chair in this committee and publicly answering questions so that way the public can see it, and so that way he doesn't have his words misrepresented in a closed-door deposition. And what this works to do is give the entire story. If you're going to vote to hold him in contempt, at least vote yes on this amendment so we can include the full story in this piece of legislation. It is the fear of the truth that has stopped the chairman from accepting Hunter Biden's offer to testify publicly, and my amendment essentially lays it all out on the table. I urge adoption of my amendment, and
Let me read some messages. Thank you, Paul. No message with that one, but I appreciate it. Joan says, here's some money just to piss John Law off. What did John Law do? I saw John Law in the comment. What did he do? What did John do? Christopher says, for Bree, make Jen's face red, please. Yes, that's what we need to do, is we need to make Jen's face red. He asked Jen how much I pay her. Oh. It depends on for what. She gets paid different amounts for different things. Good question, John. Good question. Cam says towards the Ruggy Day Fund. The Ruggy Day Fund. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let me add this up real fast. There we go. All right. It's at 48 now. Did I miss your Cash App? All right, let me check real quick. I might have missed your Cash App. Let me go back. Let me do this before I forget. Cash App. Oh, it might be Amber. I'll be in Queen Creek the 26th. What do I get? In Queen Creek, what do you get? I get out. That's where I get out of Queen Creek. I'll give you a suggestion for the best breakfast place in Arizona. It's in Mesa. It's called Cocapelli Bagel. And I don't remember which of the listeners recommended that to me. That's what you get. You get a recommendation for Cocopelli Bagel. And there's what's the barbecue place that's out there? Caldwell Farms Barbecue. You get that as well. Those are your two gifts for coming to Queen Creek. Both of those are within like 15 minutes of you. That's about what I'm good for, is golf and food recommendations. All right. And then, all right, we're going to finish off with Maxwell Frost mocking Republicans.
I'm from the state of Florida.
For the woke military, which is one of the dumbest things. We've done this. This has happened in our life too. Like I was young, but we listened to Rush Limbaugh growing up, so I was around for Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and people trying to pretend that like Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a good thing. I've been around long enough. Like it's just as Republicans rebranding. They do this all the time. What the truth is, they're just bigots, and they have to rebrand things. And so when we got a new word like woke, they take that word and they turn it into something negative.
This war on wokeism is not new to me.
John, your freaking homophobic jokes were so funny in 5th grade. Just update your material, man. Like, you notice how nobody makes those jokes anymore, like on TV? Or no comedians make those jokes anymore. You know why? Because they stopped being funny like 15 years ago. Nobody laughs at those jokes anymore. You are recycling material from comedians from 20, 30, 40 years ago. Just I think that's the problem that you're having here. And I think it's frustrating for a lot of conservatives because you guys aren't funny. And you're regurgitating lines that you think are funny, and your friends laugh at it because your friends are fucking idiots. But normal people don't laugh at jokes that they heard and got over 30 years ago. It's just not that funny anymore. Like, bro, it's just update it. Do a little better. Tacky. Yeah, he's Andrew Dice Claying it. Yeah, that's right. But like without the cadence.
That Republicans on this committee haven't caught on to my governor DeSantis' failing presidential campaign that's based on this war on woke. And this misplacement on wokeism in the military endangers America's national security by ignoring the real threats. Some of the real threats to our national security are low military recruitment and retention rates, which is what I want to focus on today. Look, service members aren't leaving the military because of DEI training, or because a military base was renamed, or because someone accessed an abortion. But what I do hear from my constituents is this. I've had folks write about problems with housing allowance being too low in the military. People messaging me about saying medications are too expensive. Folks worrying that service members won't be able to get pay if Republicans in Congress shut down the government. These are the real things that resonate with the American people, because these are the issues that this committee needs to be addressing.
I would just say, like, if you have people quitting the military because of wokeness, good. Like, you are an unbelievable coward, thin-skinned. We don't want you. If serving alongside somebody who either identifies differently than you, looks differently than you, has sex differently than you, and that's too much for you to continue to serve in the military, terrific. That's great news. I really look forward to you leaving the military. You're a coward. You're thin-skinned. You're a coward. Stop telling me muted. Anybody who said muted gets muted for 1 minute. That's our new rule. If you tell me I'm muted, you get muted for 1 minute. Take that, Cam. But yeah, like this is the softest shit. Like our military is becoming weak. Listen, if our military can't handle people working side by side who think or look or identify differently, then we were already weak. We already were. And we'll probably get stronger because we're getting all these cowards out.
General, you testified that.
Oh, let me read some comments before we get on to that next part. Patricia, did you make up that last name? Patricia, is that your real last name? That's great. Thank you for the donation. Chris says for Bree. Oh, I read that one. Wait, I thought that. Why did that have a red dot? I already did that one. Weird. Maybe I didn't click on it before. Michelle says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Michelle. Happy New Year to you. Bree, thank you very much. That was generous. God damn, it's not loading. There we go. Bree says, Shh, I place. Oh, no. Oh, no. I place my finger over your mouth and whisper, "Just me." You slide my but God damn it, you slide my panties to the side and push it. Oh my God, I can't read this. I can't. I want to be clear on this. Do not go after Bree. This is strictly to make my face red, and this is gonna work. Oh my God. All right. You slide my panties to the side and push a finger in me as I let out a moan. In and out, you push, then slip a second finger in. You push your fingers in and out fast. The sounds of wetness drown out my moans. This is literally my nightmare. This is all of my childhood trauma coming up at once. Terrific. Jesus. Linda says, thank you again for informative lives and content. Yeah, thank you. Those two comments are great back to back. Did I miss any other ones? Dubs for Bree. Thank you. Yeah, dubs for Bree. We did knock out the goal. Thank you guys very much for that. I appreciate it. You came in clutch. Zach said, Can I mute you with a ball gag? I'd prefer that you didn't, but I'm guessing you could. Yeah, see, Wink is with me. There's some people in here that have the same religious trauma as me, and we're all feeling the exact same thing. Like it is nails on a chalkboard for us, and I appreciate it. It's a little bit of exposure therapy. I hate it, and I appreciate it. All right, one more. Oh yeah, we're out of time. Let me check. What do you mean one more? You're bringing in one more? All right. While we're bringing in one more, we'll finish some Maxwell Frost stuff tomorrow. We'll get to that. That is, wait, it is time, right? Yeah, it's 2. My computer is on. Oh, I know why. It's because my VPN is set to Los Angeles. That's why my computer clock is all fucked up. Now I get it. Jesus Christ. Kelsey. Amber says time to charge for explicities. Thank you. I don't know I have no idea what that means. Natalie says, why did the old man fall down the well? I don't know. There's no answer there? There's no answer there. I don't know. Why did the old man fall down the well? I have no idea. Sorry, a call came in right when I was checking those. Oh, there we go. Why did the old man fall down the well? He couldn't see that well. You guys had it there. You guys had it on there. All right. Where is it? Did you send it on Venmo, Bree? Of course you did. Terrific. Oh, good. One more. Terrific. Let's end it with this. Oh my God. Gushing. You whisper, shut the fuck up. That's mean. I'm not that mean, and be a good girl. I oblige and muffle my moans. Then you slide down and Jesus. Then you slide down and start eating me out with your fingers still inside. Great. Slide. I don't even understand these movements. And Cam says, you're muted like the Niners offense. Thank you. I hope you lose your first round game in the playoffs, and I hope to never hear from you. Or not never, just until next year. All right, everybody. That's enough. Thank you so much. John, apparently great job. Thanks for taking care of that goal, John. Better jokes next time. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow morning. It's Friday tomorrow. It's Friendly Friday tomorrow. Come with your friendliness. And we'll be back tomorrow morning and most weekday mornings, sometimes not on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on TikTok. You can catch the replays on YouTube. You can follow us on any other social medias. And if you'd like a Discord invite, message any of the moderators. Moderators, if you're here, if you'll raise your hand, great. And I need to figure out who we're going to raid. Can I drop some suggestions of who we're going to raid? Let's see. Polly? Oh, yeah, we haven't rated Polly for a while. Athena, it's got to be. Is Athena really live? I owe Athena one. Is Athena live right now? Yeah. Jen, is Athena live? We're sure on that? I just want to double check. Not that I don't believe you, Kelsey, but I just want to make sure. Jen. Everything went quiet all of a sudden. No Jen, no new. I don't see Athena. Is it under Covey? Let me look. I'll look on my phone. Is it Covey or Covey? Covey 2.0. All right, Covey 2.0. Let me make sure. And Jen, it's still live. Okay, we're gonna raid Athena. Covey 2.0. There we go. At Covey 2.0. Tell her RTP sent you, and I'll see everybody else tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thank you for making my face red and for a second day of going through all the highlights of our Democratic friends up there, really putting in some good work in Congress. Hopefully, this year is a little bit better year. But I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.